Hello.
I overslept. So we're starting a bit later than usual and we're not going to go as long, but I see an altar of light here. What is this?
I was having a look because at the reliquary stuff, and it said it can grow glowstone. I was like, oh, maybe this is an alternate way. So I made it. It's really cheap. I placed 3 redstone inside it, and it said it processes for 20.3 hours or whatever. Don't have a clue, and it never did anything. It has been sitting there for about a week. So I was like, I'll leave it just in case something does happen.
I got jump scared because I left the tab open for cultivate. You left it open for over 2 days? That's your own fault. But anyway,
So
hi
how
Kev.
could you get jump scared from my sultry voice?
It's probably my crusty just woke up voice. You were in my dream last night, actually, Charlie. I say last night. This was
fair
a
enough.
couple hours ago. Somehow we had traveled.
What happened?
Well, you and me and a couple other people had I don't remember who they were though. Somehow traveled to the future around 2050, and we were like,
Sorry, can you repeat that? You were cutting out a little bit.
oh, you and me and a couple of the people that I don't remember had traveled to the future. We had time traveled, and we were just looking around trying to figure out what was going on with the culture of a couple decades from now, and it was I don't really remember a lot of specifics other than we were just trying to figure it out, and then we split up at one point, and we were trying to ask questions, and people were not really giving us clear answers because it was weird to ask about. There's that trope of it's weird to ask about stuff that is normal in that time period or whatever. So people weren't really knowing how to answer our questions, and at one point, this one person kind of got the attention of me and the other person I was with, and kind of beckoned us into this door into the basement or something. And there was this big lab set up down there where they had this big one of those big screens that doctors have to protect you from X-rays and stuff. And they were like, "I'll get behind this." I'm like, "Okay." And they were doing some kind of experiment, and they had this body of a person, but half of the body was metal limbs or something. I'm like, "Are they alive?" And they were like, "Probably." I'm like, what the hell? And then I was trying to figure out how to meet back up with you, and I was like, I think, fuck, actually, I think this whole thing that I was on, the upstairs area where I was asking people, and then the basement, I think it was all on a train, because I kept checking, what stop are we at, and it's oh, we're at Bexhill. And then I was like, maybe I should, text Charlie to meet at Hamden Park. And I was like, we could go see what happened to Hamden Park and, all that. Yeah. That was pretty much it. Oh, no, there was also a bit where I dreamed about Delta in Chapter 5, but you would have no context for that.
I had a very strange dream that kind of bordered on a nightmare last night.
Oh, no.
And it effectively culminated with basically the dream started, and I think this is because basically basically I've been forgetting a lot of things recently, and basically I don't know, I guess that's what worried me about things.
Yeah.
The dream started, and I've just doing some stuff. For some reason, I have a flat in on the seafront for some reason,
Okay.
and for whatever reason, I've invited our Jack and Harry.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them in ages, but I've invited them over, and for some reason, this flat, for some bizarre reason, has a two rooms that are separate from each other that can be locked. Right?
Yeah.
On the outside.
Sorry, what the hell is this?
What's that?
Centennial Trophy.
It's the things from ages ago. We got them from opening loads of those chests.
Oh, I didn't remember that. Fair enough. Anyway, sorry, go on. 2 rooms that were locked
Yeah, so-
between each other.
Yeah, so for some reason I was joking around with the others, and I locked both Harry and Jack in these two different rooms. Anyway, as dreams do, right? You know,
Yeah.
it kind of jumps to a different story. You know, I start having this whole different story. You know, there's this random person I meet. You know, she's going on about this whole thing that's happened, and I start following that story, and eventually, you know, like several days pass and things like that in the dream, so on and so forth. But for some reason, randomly it cycles back to this girl who's like was talking about, you know, something going wrong. She's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm feeling a bit down. I was like, okay, well we'll head off to like the train station at some point. But before we do that, I need to go pick something up from my flat.
Yeah.
So I start walking towards my flat, and then for whatever reason, I started having like full-on cold sweats
Oh
because I
no.
realised that, and this is where, like, you know,
Had
the
you left
film
Jack and Harry and they
happens.
starved to death?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah,
Oh
that. And, like, I was having like a full-on nightmare over the fact that I just starved two people to death because I forgot they existed.
no! I'm sorry.
So I woke up at I woke up at 5:54,
Yeah.
checked my phone at 5:55, and then laid there because I was like, my god, that was horrible. And then Rihanna woke up at 6, and I was
Yeah.
just laying there in bed like, what the fuck.
Somehow, even with you forgetting stuff recently, like you said, I don't think you would forget that you left two people locked in your flat.
I mean, you never know. You never.
That's true. I mean, they have their phones. You think they would call
That's
you?
that's the thing about it's kind of like in like a you situation with like you know, Joe Goldberg's like weird like glass box for whatever reason, like, you know, it's like for some reason, even though I did it as a laugh, you know, it's just a bit of a silly thing, and they were in on the joke.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I did it, and then just immediately after looking away, I forgot that they were in there, and that somehow they didn't have their phones, they couldn't contact each other, and specifically as well, they couldn't help each other because they were both in the two separate rooms.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's the
I
kind of
mean,
dreams I've been
even
having.
worst case scenario, it would take multiple weeks for them to starve to death. I'm pretty sure, or at least days, right?
Maybe maybe. I mean, apparently I just forgot that I had a flat for several days. So, you know, I don't know where I
God.
was. Uh, but I was saying to
Yeah,
Rihanna, I was
around.
like, this is why I don't think we could ever have a pet, because I might just forget we have a pet and then just not feed it for a couple of days and then
God.
realize. And I was like,
I've
that'd
had
be
that
such
worry
a
as well.
horrible.
Hang on, there's a tunnel behind the lift on floor -2.
Yes. So
How
basically,
am I
I've
supposed to get to
connected all the
that?
tunnels back up now. You can't. That's more there for the outside. So if you come outside, you can see what I've been working
No,
on.
I found a way to do it. Or not? Hang on, why is my jetpack not working? Oh, it's because I'm on a contraption and it thinks. Okay.
You might need to do. You might need to use.
Okay. Rending go?
The rod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, by the way, thanks for the 20 stream watch streak, Kev. Really appreciate the support. Oh, what's this? Ooh, what's that up there? You may have noticed, eagle-eyed viewers, if you're looking at the map, that you can see, looks a little bit different on the mini-map there. And we also have this big tunnel system now. But, basically, while I've been, sitting on my ass doing what I usually do, Charlie has, no, I have been busy, but, I helped a tiny little bit with the bit underneath here, but, yeah, Charlie did all this shit off screen, and has, actually properly finished the base from just being a bunch of featureless white buildings.
Yeah.
Do we need more white concrete for these frame slopes?
Oh no! Basically, the way I built most of this stuff. I'll actually show you this because it's pretty cool. Actually, I may. Do I already have it? No. Okay. If you actually, we can do it here. Yeah, I think. So I'm going to show you something incredible. Are you ready? A table.
Uh-huh.
Very exciting, I know. So basically,
Is this the thing where you make
uh,
a plan for something and then you kind of copy paste it down?
yeah. So if I say, for example, place this and get, some of these triangles
Mm-hmm.
in and stuff like that. Nice and easy, and we'll also place some lights on top of it.
Yeah.
So what we can then do is if I pass you this, the thing on the floor, if you select this whole area, so just right-click the lower bit, and then so right-click the concrete there, just so you get like the range.
There you go. I got the range.
And then I'll break this quickly. So then now right-click it again, and it should prompt you to save it.
Oh, okay. Test.
So
Oh,
just call it
MBG.
like test or whatever.
Yeah. And then I put it in the table?
Not that one.
Okay.
You want to put one of these in there.
There's
So
a
if you
blank
put
one?
that in the table,
Yeah.
and then scroll to find the one that you want. So you'll probably see there's a bunch of stuff already in there for like.
There's two tests in there. There's Arcane Reactor and Unassembled Hephaestus Forge.
Oh, so you must have already done this then,
I don't recall. I think
because
they're probably there by default.
I do not. Oh no, I do have Arcane Reactor and Unassembled Person. Oh, that must just be server stuff.
So
I
it
wonder
makes.
what that does. Yeah,
it makes.
Yeah. So once you've got that, if
Whoa,
you then
okay.
right-click it somewhere to place it in the world.
Left Alt to focus.
So with left alt, you can then scroll through the different properties to like change where its positions and stuff like that.
Very nice.
And then press Control to like actually, yeah. So once you're happy with where it is, you can then place the schematic inside the schematic cannon.
Where would that be?
Just behind you here. I just placed it down. This one.
Oh. In the top left? Oh no, it's gunpowder. A schematic here. Out of gunpowder.
And then I'll throw some gunpowder in, tell it to start, and it will say it's missing an item. So what we can then do is place down a container or an inventory next to it.
Yeah.
So I'll place this down, and you can see it will start building again.
Okay, but it doesn't do the whatever we put as the skin on the frame slope. It also didn't finish it.
For some reason it didn't do these ones. It might have been because you were standing here when it started.
Oh,
So
maybe.
if it can't place it, it will just
Can we try it again? Is that?
Yeah. If we grab it back out, you might need to go when it completes the schematic. It basically deletes the sorry.
Right. Yeah.
It
It scrubs it.
so you just place it again. Yeah, so basically it's quite slow if you're making something massive, but I had about like 5 of these running on all of the different bridges and bridge corners, and then for the most part I went back and started placing quite a few of them. So if you place it, this thing has a lot of range as well, so if you place that in and then it should
Press
start
play.
being ready to...
Ah.
There you go. So yeah, it's able to place the blocks, but it can't place the contents of the triangle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
One thing. So we have
It is
to
funny how
them
these let you
manually.
see through the floor, though.
Yeah, it's if you place them manually, it doesn't do that. It's just if they work with the schematic cannon, it's really bugged.
I guess I could go around and do these for a bit. So I just as an opportunity to show off the base. I guess other than that, I'm trying to figure out what we should do this time, because the next objective is to do the time in a bottle thing, and we haven't had time to... Oh wait, we can actually access chapter 4 of Tech now. Huh. Wait, what do you mean we haven't finished 3? Oh, of course, there's this whole biomass section. I forgot about this.
Yeah, so if you come outside with me quickly... so do you remember what we... so you might have remembered last time, I said kind of rather than focusing on the chapter's next objectives,
Yeah.
to try and do stuff that's a bit more tangential to the chapters, so that we can start building up a bit more of like a functioning base before we
Yeah.
then kind of continue them.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I started looking into, I haven't set anything up, I literally started doing this at the beginning of the stream, was power. So
Yeah.
if we go and hop into this over here, this I did do off stream, I was just testing it. But effectively, we can use these alternators to generate power, and then connect them to an accumulator to store the power, and then use that to then transfer power on the base. So rather than having to run everything off of create machines, we can start looking into actually generating electricity, and then using thermal expansion machines.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, our current farming setup has the circles that go around and stuff like that, and they're a bit slow and kind of a bit cumbersome.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas what we could do is make some phytogenic insulators and use those, and that then opens up loads and loads and loads of more crops that we can work with, including stuff like tree growth, I believe. Slimy trees can be done.
So where is the power being generated for this one?
These here, so these alternators. So there are two things that so we got two things here. So we got a electric motor and an alternator. Effectively, a electric motor converts Fe into kinetic stress, and an alternator converts kinetic stress into Fe. Yeah. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio, so storing it as electricity does lose a lot of power.
Yeah, but it's good to have the buffer anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And with this, we can set up like logic to say if an alternator gets below a certain amount, we can then prioritize this system to keep it running and stuff like that.
Okay.
The other thing as well is potentially worth looking into for us is oh, I forgot to go and left my bag on the floor. Are these. So last session we also made a few magmatic generators.
Yeah.
And I made a compression dynamo, magmatic dynamo and a compression dynamo. I made to test something. They all generate 40 RF per tick. We can upgrade that, but that's something we can't do for a while. But effectively this is a kind of one block solution for power. So rather than having to have alternators and stuff like that, we can just slap this into the infinite lava generator. Or with the compression dynamo, this can run on refined fuel. So we could get a vat of refined fuel like we have for our lava.
This is with the converting biomass into like the different types of fuel, right?
We wouldn't even need to do that.
Okay.
If we can just get enough refined fuel from the oil that we've got, we could create a because we just need to basically create this kind of thing here. So we just need about like 20 buckets, effectively, and then
and we can transport it with like crude dude or something.
Yeah. So we can use crude dude to grab the oil. We can then process that and then kind of then get the buckets we need to create the infinite source and then work from there. The problem with that is that this obviously doesn't do an awful lot. This only does 40 RF per tick, whereas these do 360.
Yeah.
So block-wise, this is more effective. But whereas this needs 360, it also needs this entire setup.
Yeah.
So the other one's a lot more expandable as well.
Yeah. Were you thinking once we set that up, would you want to tear these down?
Yeah, so this is what I'm currently thinking at the moment, is now that we've got the kind of building parts of the base done, it might be worth us rethinking how we're generating power and how we're dealing with things like that. So like how we're generating resources. So for example, rather than the if you come with me to the central room, the central part of the base, sorry. So on floor -1. Yeah, on floor -1, you may notice a problem.
We're out of cobble.
Yes.
Because it's
so
all
effectively,
turned moss. Wait, no, that's not the problem.
The moss isn't the issue. The issue is actually that for some reason when the server deloaded,
Yeah.
it loaded part of one chunk and part of the other,
Oh no.
and the system that turned the cobble on and off when it overfilled kind of just got broken. And I tore the whole thing down, rebuilt it, and for some reason it wouldn't turn off. And what was happening was we were getting effectively just infinite cobble overflow. Just
Yeah.
every single one of these is just breaking cobble and just letting it sit there, and then the cobble would regenerate, and that would make it fly off everywhere, and
Yeah.
it was causing huge
So the
issues.
floor was covered in it.
So, yeah, so I tore it down just because it was going to crash the server, and it did
Right,
crash
yeah,
the
yeah.
server.
Yeah, yeah.
But there is a way around it, and there's again in thermal expansion. There's something called an igneous extruder, which we can't make just yet, but we can look into it. So this is with plastic, with radiant mechanisms, molten plastic, and that makes a plastic mechanism, and then that can then be used to make a plastic machine, which can then make the igneous extruder.
Okay.
And then we can power that using other things, and that'll basically generate us cobble and a bunch of other things as well. We can use it to make soapstone, red rock, limestone, normal stone, scorcia, white sandstone.
So a bunch of different types of stone can be generated automatically with this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Okay.
so mainly the
we probably have more than enough cobble for our needs for now anyway.
Yes,
okay.
the two main important ones though that I'm thinking is we can get granite, andesite, and cobblestone with it, which the granite can be used to get infinite gold. The andesite, obviously, for the andesite related things, and the cobble for, iron and
sand,
obviously everything else that comes from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another thing which is worth us kind of tearing up this system here and potentially kind of looking at the alternate uses, alternate ways of generating these resources, and then kind of going from there.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So what I've started working on the outside is I don't actually know how to generate plastic just yet. What I've started working on the outside is just setting up some wires between the buildings.
Okay.
So the idea will be.
Oh, I see.
That we can have like we can have the like power lines connected to each of the buildings.
Yeah.
We could, if we really wanted, transfer the what they called the kinetic the shafts. I'm literally standing on some the shafts around to transfer kinetic stress as well. But it might be better to use electric motors in each of the locations. So each building kind of has its own electric motor.
I understand. Yeah.
And then from there, sort of the I guess the last thing to wrap it all up. The idea is that then the pipes that we've currently got that go between buildings, we can connect all of those up to the storage buildings, and inside the storage buildings we can have massive vats of different liquids. So rather than just having the lava in the lava one, we can get rid of that and instead have the storage one contain the lava, contain the fuel, contain water and stuff like that, and then have all these pipes running through the base.
Yes.
That we can then hook up to, and any of the machines that need to use those fluids can then use them.
Okay, sounds good.
So where we want to start on all this, I have no idea.
I guess one other thing I'm thinking about is I'm looking in these buildings, and we're gonna obviously fill them up with various useful things. The lighting is still just torches, and I'm thinking if is there electric lighting that we could potentially hook up to?
If you come up here, actually no, just over here. this is something I started looking into. These little lamps.
Yeah.
I figured they look a bit nicer. I'm not sure about how I've placed them over here and stuff like that. It's just a temporary thing, really.
Yeah.
But like I've placed them as like a little things on the walkways.
Yeah.
And I think that does kind of work. There might be better ways of lighting.
Can you hang them from like chains or poles or something as well?
Yes, yeah, you can.
Okay. Cool.
There is also a solution that we could do that I was looking into as well, which would mean that the mob farm wouldn't work, but also I think it's worth doing anyway because I'm going to tear the mob farm up for the
We have plans for the
one
central
tower. Yeah. Which I won't say what that is going to be yet because I don't want to be held accountable if it turns out it's going to work horribly wrong and then I just give up and go back to making a tower. But the idea would be, sorry, what they're called? They're called, if you type in torch, it is called a mega torch. They're fairly easy to make, and they prevent natural spawning of hostile mobs.
Yeah. This. Yes. Cool. That is very easy to make, I see.
Yeah. So we could have one of those in, well, like, maybe one in the central tower and one in the center of the 4 quadrants. And that might be enough of a radius to, stop mob spawning in each of those locations.
Yeah.
Which would mean that we could then kind of cut down on the lighting and have a more decorative lighting rather than just torch spam.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
I
like that.
Does that sound good? Because I can make some of those now if you wanted.
Sure, yeah. I should probably
also
get up on top of this and actually... you can see we've got... yeah, let me just show the minimap at this point. You can see we've got the 4 different quadrants with 4 buildings each. And they're assigned to specific roles. So far we have the 1 floor of... How many floors is each building? Is it 3?
3 floors of each building. Technically, the farming building
well.
actually has 9.
Okay.
But yeah, they can also go down, but I haven't currently emptied the water out of all the buildings. So they're currently flooded.
That's fine.
Yes, they can go down.
That's another point, actually, is, yeah, the interior of all this has been drained of its water, and I guess we just need to go around and destroy the gravel and stuff.
Sorry if you can hear Lola snoring.
I honestly can't, but I mean, who's going to complain about hearing a cat snore? That's cute.
She's so loud.
Oh, I guess not all the water has been drained, actually, but most of it has.
Yeah, so all the water on the corners has been drained. The water in the center has been drained, but the water on like the kind of bridgeways, I've drained 2 of them, but I haven't drained. I've drained one of them. I haven't drained the other 3.
That's okay. Yeah, no, you did a really good job. I know you said you did a lot of the copy pasting was with the canon, but you still had to figure out how you wanted it to look, and it looks really nice.
Thank you.
Obviously, you have the walkways connecting the different buildings of the same, like on the same floors.
Yeah, so one of the not every building has been hooked up yet because I did have to do all of this manually, space up the things and stuff like that, and some of them I just couldn't be bothered to do, to be honest.
Understandable.
But something that you said beforehand was that each of the buildings need to have be able to be accessed as a pedestrian.
Yes, yeah.
Without the jetpack and stuff. So the walkways let you wander around on the specific floors, without needing to.
But then, you're on the same train of thought as me. We need to figure out the
yes,
The
the
access
the
between
way that I was
floors.
thinking of doing it was in the X patterns, the kind of like inside, kind of like corner, like corridor bits, um, from basically in between all of the four buildings of each quadrant.
Yeah.
I was thinking of doing kind of like walkways between the levels.
Okay.
So that way you kind of, if you want to go to a lower floor, you have to go down there and up there and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Either that, or we could put, because I haven't actually decorated the outside of the buildings yet. That's kind of, it's very much party in the front. No, sorry, business in the front, party in the back at the moment with the
That's a good way of putting it.
the buildings. Um,
No, I
um,
think something like a big fire exit situation would be good. In this back sort of area. That makes
yeah,
sense to me. I would say we could
we
put
could.
elevators in all of them, but that might be a bit annoying. I don't know.
I was literally about to say the same thing. It wouldn't be too bad if we get power distributed throughout the base in a
Right.
fairly like
Yeah,
uniform
yeah.
way, because the elevators are very easy to set up. It's just making them look nice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if we could do that and either have the mechanical power running around or electric power, and then just
Mhm.
having um, the motors be around. Either could work, and then we could just place the lifts
Yeah.
there and then. Let's say we could also place some lifts actually in the um, on the outside as well, so you can get up and down.
Yeah.
Um, I'm leaning towards trying to see if I can get the central bit done first before I start doing outside lifts. So I
That's
do
fair.
have an idea for that. Um, but yes, I'm not gonna worry about that just yet because that's gonna take a very long time.
Mhm.
Um, okay, let me. So what was I gonna do? I was gonna see about trying to hook up the some like power lines around the center so we can at least see
Yeah.
if we
And I
power up.
guess if you want to set up the ignis extruder, I could look into plastic. I assume the problem is I assume it's going to be covered in a later chapter anyway. Um,
Probably, yeah. Um, let me, because it should be in the machining chapter of chapter 4. So processing PCBs. Um, oh wait, apparently we've already got plastic boards.
oh
What?
really? Maybe we got some from one of those
Because yeah, the
reward
quest
chests.
for it is literally just you have a plastic board. Um, so technically, I guess this is the point in where we're meant to be making plastic. How do we make plastic? Okay, so plastic is or smelting plastic construction bricks, or using sturdy sheets and molten plastic. Sturdy sheets are easy. Molten plastic can be done with LPG and coal.
Well, I
Also,
think
we can
LPG is
already
a
we can
thing they
do this.
craft, isn't it? Oh no, LPG is the
Oh wait,
biomass thing, isn't it?
yeah,
Oh, I'm fucking stupid.
we
Yeah,
could.
we literally, it's literally part of, this is the thing I was talking about earlier, is the extension to chapter 3. I think I should work on that then. Because that'll get
Yep.
us main progress, and it'll be plastic we can use for some of the machines like Ignis Extruder and stuff.
Um, with that said, then, did you want, because with the storage, because it's a liquid, what we could do
Oh, that's
is
true, as we
actually
could start doing the
plan out
storage.
vats,
Yeah.
and then figure out what is the size we need to do for the vats, and then basically have it so like we can block out several of these vats for the different fluids.
Yes.
Um, if you come meet me in the storage, then the storage section. I'm going with you. I'll grab some of this.
The only problem is I haven't yet, because I didn't know we were going to be doing plastic today. Should have titled the stream Dumb Thoticus, I only drink molten plastic.
What?
I only drink molten plastic, Dumb Thoticus. Hang on, I need to find the image.
So you have lost me here.
I guess I should post this on the stream as well, but let me send it to you quickly. This is a classic meme where, you know, this girl on the left asks the girl on the right vodka or fireball, and the one on the right says, "I only drink molten plastic, Dumb Thoticus."
I have never seen this.
And then there's text that says MSEC, and I don't know what that means.
Fair enough.
It's a classic. I love MSEC and Dumb Thoticus. Yeah. Reminds me of I don't drink Coca-Cola, only penis. Good. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I guess I can work on that then. Storage. You told me to come over to storage. I am...
Yes, I'm in the square building.
Oh, that's generator. Generation.
So I'm just having a look. So what is it? We need 10,000 blocks to do this.
Oh, that's right. You wanted infinite storage for the liquids.
Yeah. So
reminder of the post that says that image passes the Bechdel test. That's true. It does.
7 by 7 is 49. 8 by 8 is 64. 9 by 9 is 81. Okay, so we do need a 10 by 10 for each volt, for each vat, sorry. That's really annoying, because that gets us... Okay, fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
How is my inventory already... Oh, that's why. I thought I set this to stack. Anyway.
You should have a look at what I've done with... check that bag. this is how I was building everything.
That's awesome. What the hell is the Infernal Chalice? Stores lava and protects you from lava damage. So whenever you touch lava, it absorbs it?
Basically it acts as the bucket, but yeah, it also has a weird property where it does something with lava. I haven't used that yet. It's mainly I've just picked it up and filled it for kind of infinite lava.
Okay,
it doesn't have infinite lava, but it's effectively got infinite lava because I put it underneath our infinite lava generator in the spout, and it just filled it up with
nice
496.
I'm glad that works. 4,096.
Oh, honestly, I am very glad it works too, because it would have taken forever to fill.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so this is the size of one vat.
Yep. So then these need to go 100 blocks down.
Yeah, I'm just gonna see if.
How many of these can we even fit in here? Actually, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Can we fit a third one?
3. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that, and then 1, 2, 3. I ran out of blocks. Sorry. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Hang on. What if we share the corner so it's like 1, 2. That does work, but it's not even.
1 second. I've got an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Because this goes up to 77, so I've got the calculator out here. 77.
Oh, so you're thinking 81. Some of it would be in here, and then it would only go 33 blocks down, or
60. 81, and then 49 is 7 times. No, 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, so it needs to be a 9 by 9 now. Is is 81? 81 is 11,000. So what we could do.
So the interior of these buildings is 43 blocks across? I think.
Something like that. I was leaving a little bit of room on the edges as well, so we could walk around.
Yeah. The windows are also...
They're a bit pokey out, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we could do this. That should be 9 by 9.
It is, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, that
1,
works.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Lastly, reject this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Nice Roblox stream? How dare you? Charlie has Roblox related aging trauma or something, or like, what do you want to call it? You were talking about this in the IRL group chat the other day. I don't know if you want to talk about this on stream, but
no, I'm happy to talk about the stream. I don't know if we're not in the stream now, but I am a games developer. You know, it's effectively what I usually would have been doing. Now I'm a lecturer, but beforehand I actually made games, and I still do make games in my spare time, sort of thing. That was my job, and because of that, I'm very aware necessarily of gaming practices and things like that. And I've got quite a few nieces and nephews and things like that, and they play Roblox. And when I was younger, quite often, you know, I would play, you know, a lot of shitty Flash games and stuff like that, you know. And I know Flash isn't around anymore, but the thing is that I play a lot of different games. I, you know, do a lot of different things. What I've noticed with a lot of young people is, and it's not their fault.
It's pass me
how the market's
iron,
going.
I can do that.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's how the market is going. Is effectively that games are wanting to become games as a platform. So Roblox is one of the big things that started this. You know, it was okay when it first started. It wasn't too bad, but you know, me and Autumn played Roblox like.
No, I didn't.
Did you not? Did I not drag you on for like my Pokemon obstacle course?
You showed me your Pokemon obstacle course on your computer one time, and I think I played it once. That's the only experience I've ever had with Roblox.
But in that case, it's fine. I played this thing back in forever ago, and you know, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't great. Yes, there's a bit of like the money issues there and stuff like that. But
should we do full rows, by the
way? 4 rows? What do you mean? Sorry.
Like are we leaving a gap in the middle, or are we just filling up the whole room?
Oh, filling up the whole room, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do 9. We'll do 9 in here and 9 in the other one, and we'll try and fill them with different fluids.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, so I was talking to my family about kind of like, you know, this sort of stuff, and I was saying to them that it kind of irks me a lot about how a lot of games aren't, you know, games to be fun anymore. It's games to be, you know, this kind of
like a Skinner box to trick you into wasting all your time.
Basically, just a way of nicking people's money.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, waste people's time, get their money, and that's kind of it. And I was talking to them about, because they always go on about, oh, Charlie used to play Cookie Clicker, he used to play all these sort of things. I'm like, yeah, but they were free, and also, you know, it was kind of like.
Also, Cookie Clicker was a parody game. It was making fun of games like that and taking it to the logical extreme. And then, you know, people enjoyed it, so he made it fun. But like,
yeah, the thing is that Cookie Clicker itself had a bunch of systems built into it that you would want to try and figure out ways of optimizing these things. It was kind of a puzzle in itself to do these things. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But my family were going on about how like, oh, I used to play terrible games, but they're perfectly fine with my nephew playing a game that he
quote
has
unquote
spent
game.
real money on. He told us that he spends £1 a month. He's like, oh, it's only £1 a month. It's like, well, okay, but he spends £1 a month so that people can't steal his stuff. On what is it called? Steal the Brain Rot. A Roblox mini game called Steal the Brain Rot, where effectively, and the thing that annoys me is that it's a carbon copy game that I have seen loads and loads of copies of for this, game, where all it is you've got, but basically it's a tycoon game from Roblox. If you've ever played Roblox, you've seen tycoon games, but it's a tycoon game where you can kind of interact with other players. But the thing is that it's so like monopolized, like financially, kind of gross now, that these things are, a game like that, which you'd usually kind of expect. Okay, it's a shitty game that someone's thrown together in like an afternoon, and there you go. Okay, mobs are still spawning here. God damn it. Yeah, it's people are spending shit tons of money on this, and he was going, oh yeah, but all of my friends, it's only £1 a month, but all of my friends pay for it, sort of thing. And we're like, that's spending so much money on a game like this, and that's not to mention the other forms of Robux. And the thing that really tipped me over the edge was I went down to Devon to see my girlfriend's family, and usually I'm very against mobile games, and the reason I'm against mobile games is because they could have been good. They could have been kind of like how Flash games originally were, where you pick one up, you play it for a bit. Maybe if you like it, you can donate to the creators, or maybe they've got like a little bit of like like a kind of like Bloons Tower Defense. You can unlock some special towers if you paid for like the the premium of it or whatever. But the thing is that that's not kind of what mobile games kind of were like this when they really first started coming onto the scene, but really it isn't like that. Anyone who's played a mobile game knows exactly what a mobile game is, and
Yeah.
exactly where things go. And I downloaded a couple of tower defense games, a kind of like a uh, stick figure like fighting game, and a spaceship game where you had to upgrade a spaceship sort of thing, and like go through some levels. And I downloaded these 3 games, sorry, 4 games, all of them from different companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of them had over like 1 million downloads. They were at the top of the app store, and all having a really really positive reviews. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? All of them were above 4.7 stars. So I downloaded these games, and I tried them one by one until I got kind of fed up with them. And the first one I tried was the stick figure one, where it is like stick figure epic battles or whatever. I don't remember the exact name of it. I uninstalled it, so I can't find it again. I can find it again. I just go to the app store and just type in the same thing I typed in last time. But my point is I looked at this and it was really really slow. It wasn't too bad, but it was kind of like, oh, this is kind of dragging on. So I have this kind of sneaking suspicion with a lot of games like this, where I then look at the app store, and not the app store, the in-game store, and I check, okay, what parts of this are, how much is this actually costing in terms of a player who wants to play this game? And I was playing as a free-to-play player, and I understand that's a different thing. But I'm not against paying for games, at all. But at the same time, if the game is incentivizing this sort of stuff, I want to understand it. So in the same way, like Team Fortress 2, for example, Team Fortress 2 is a free game, but you can pay money for it. But you paying money into the game isn't going to change your experience necessarily. It will unlock, say, for example, Man vs. Machine tickets, so you can play that sort of stuff. It will unlock competitive, you can do that. But if you buy a bunch of crates, it's not going to make your game any better than someone else's. Anyway, but I had a look at the store for this stick figure game, and it was like, oh, you can do this, and it'll give you twice as much damage, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, I can't be bothered with this. I'm done. So I moved on to the next game. It was this weird like forging game where you have to like forge some stuff, and same kind of process. It was like you have to pay for gems.
Should I start draining the water underneath this, by the way, so that we can put the...
Yes, to do that, that's actually going to be a bit of a pain in the ass to do. One second, let me quickly start mining all of this out. So, because what we're going to have to do, Autumn, is we're going to have to kind of um, separate out the things because we can't drain the water because it would just create an infinite source because there's so much water here.
Right. Yeah.
So we need to kind of separate it out into different regions. So probably worth literally just blocking these down as if it was tanks.
Okay. Sure, I can do that. What block do we use? Should we use for that? The industrial iron?
Probably, yeah, probably just industrial iron. That would probably be the easiest.
I don't have any.
It's just putting iron in the stone cutter, but I can give you some. Let me just get rid of these quickly. I shall.
There's a dolphin here.
I'm sorry, dolphin. You're about to be rehomed, and by that I mean you'll probably die.
Well, hang on. Is there a way for me to transport the dolphin out? Oh yeah, we can use one of those mob things. Where do you? Is that in the chest?
Quantum catchers.
Yeah, yeah.
I have no idea where they are because do you remember I lost all my stuff in the cauldron? That was the second time, and I found the stuff from the second time, but I lost a lot of other stuff, and I have no idea where it's gone.
Huh. Okay. What did you say it was called?
Yeah. It's called industrial iron. It's... Oh, sorry, quantum catcher, sorry. Yeah, sorry, quantum catcher, yeah. Anyway, sorry, as I was saying, so, yeah, I checked this other game, and it was kind of like, okay, well, this is also really slow. But then I checked the store page, and the store page, I realised, had the exact same layout.
No, this isn't what I was talking
language.
about. I was talking about, sorry, the one that was like a gravity gun. You could pick up.
Yeah, the gravity gun should be in the chest. I would use the quantum catcher though, because the gravity gun's a pain in the ass to use.
I'm just moving one dolphin outside. It shouldn't be too bad.
Okay, in that case, yeah, the gravity gun should be. Oh no, the gravity gun's in my inventory, I think.
Oh.
Oh no, it is. Oh yeah, it's in my inventory. Here you go. The block pillar. Where are you? I'll give it to you. Push there. Anyway, yeah. So I checked the store pages, and they looked identical. And I don't mean like they looked identical, but they used the exact same language, as if copy and pasted. They had the exact same deals, exact same prices, and stuff like this. They were obviously selling different things. One of them was selling gems. One of them was selling like, you know, coins and so on and so forth. But yeah. Anyway, so I got fed up with these two games and tried the third game. The third game had the exact same issue. So right. I tried the fourth game, and this was the one with the spaceship. And the spaceship one did have a different store page, but this is what really sent me over the edge, was I started playing this game, and I realised that effectively you had to get to higher and higher levels. But when you died, the run that you did would get you coins, and then those coins could then be spent on permanent upgrades, so you can then start the next run, and that next run would basically get you further and stuff like that. So you'd buy temporary upgrades during a run, but then when you died, you know, they were lost, but you could then use the coins you got to upgrade your ship permanently. And, you know, these kind of went into the infinite kind of stratosphere of these kind of, you know, upgrades. And the idea is, you know, you just keep getting further and further and further. Kind of like an idle game in that kind of sense of, you know, you buying upgrades, then like prestiging and so on and so forth. But, you know, it's like a spaceship game. And I was doing this over and over again. And it was getting to the point where, you know, because I'm, you know, quite, I guess, case in point with these kind of games, I start trying to min-max them. And I was saying, okay, well, this is taking a very long time to do, so how can I get as much coins as quickly as possible so I can then start, you know, processing these things? So I started, you know, doing this, and I was like, well, if I generate, you know, get all the coin upgrades, and do this, and then start the run, and then basically run as you do a run to a point where I generate loads of coins, and then reset the run and do all that sort of stuff. I did that over a couple of times, and I was like, this is some fun, and two, it feels like the game is really, really, really slow, like dragging sort of thing. So I checked the store again, and I was like, something is like, you know, this nagging feeling that the store is always the answer. And I saw it. I saw free things in the store. It said, the first one was you could spend £8.99 to turn off ads, and turning off ads would give you a 1.5 times coin bonus.
This is on one game within Roblox, right?
Yeah.
Is it one time, or is it?
This is a permanent thing, but it's £8.99, and this is on the Play Store, the Google Play Store. So this is but this is what I'm going to get back to Roblox and this kind of like ecosystem
Sure,
that these
sure.
games are building. So yeah, $8.99 to turn of ads, and it'll give you a 1.5 times coin bonus. You could spend $8.99 again to get a 2 times coin bonus for the game, and that was called the starter pack. Or no, and sorry, not or. You could spend $24.99 to get like 500 gems and a 3 times coin bonus. And above these three things, in big glowing letters, was all coin bonuses are multiplicative.
Right.
So that means if you spent 45-ish pounds on this game, you would get a 9 times coin bonus to play the game. Every run you do would effectively give you about 10 times more coins than it would, usually. So I was effectively having to run the game 10.
I mean, this is
levels,
nothing
10 more
new.
times.
Like, this is how mobile games have operated for ages.
This is my point though. Is that it's the sheer. Like,
no, it's not good, of
yes,
course.
yes, like Temple Run and stuff like that. Had their issues with certain things. They still gave you the game for free. They still said, okay, this is the thing. You can
Yeah, that's the
spend
thing.
more
I
money.
played some Temple Run too, and honestly, I didn't give a shit about any of the stuff you could unlock or whatever. It always felt like not like it wouldn't really have a point.
It's one of those sort of
I
things.
didn't
which is
need
you
it
could
to
play the game,
enjoy
if
the
you
game
enjoyed
part
it,
of the game.
Yeah. So like I do like idle games. There's a game that I picked up on mobile, which kind of surprised me at how killer it was, called Exponential Idle. It's a very very basic idle game where the gimmick of the game is exponents, and it's kind of like themed around you doing a doctoral thesis and stuff like that. And,
Okay.
like your kind of progress through this, through university and stuff like that. But when I played the game, there weren't any ads, but there was an option to watch an ad to get like an hour's worth of 1.5 times generation speed.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you didn't need it. The game wasn't built around that. It didn't need you to have this thing. It was just kind of like, oh, you can do this as well if you want. You don't need to do this. It's just there if you want to.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I was like, and do you know how much it cost to get that thing? £2. £2 for a free game, and it was the only monetization model in that entire game. And I looked at it and I was like, I don't even care about this 1.5 times bonus because of the fact that, and you can turn it off in the game because the game isn't built around it. You can turn off the bonus after purchasing it because the game is balanced around you not having it. It's only there as a really, really basic financing thing.
Yeah.
I picked it up because I was like, I want to support games like this. I want to, incentivize people to make, games where money isn't the reason you make the games. In the same way as like Art Bonte, he does puzzle games. I might have shown you them, or the color games.
Yeah. I've played a bit of them.
And like none of that is ever being like, oh, you have to watch ads. Like you have to watch an ad if you want a hint, if you can't figure out a puzzle. But the puzzles are all well designed that you'll figure out how to use them pretty quickly. And the ones that you really don't get, it's like, okay, well, it's not like it's designed impossible, so you have to do it, sort of thing. It's about the game's developers and stuff like that actually respecting the player base as players and not as money faucets. But then circling back around to this kind of games as a service thing is that it's like it frustrates me because it's like a lot of games that are coming out now, all of them aren't trying to be good games. They're just trying to basically rinse as many people with as much cash as possible.
Well, I mean, this is the
Pokemon
thing.
did
Is
this,
like it's like, I think I heard somebody recently talking about this that like a lot of industries like this, they games started relatively small if you think about it, and then they got bigger, but they only got bigger on the promise that they would make somebody some money eventually, and then it's the same problem as any industry where they just want more of it, and this is the way you do that. So, I mean,
yeah,
this isn't the only reason, but I have largely kind of gone away from like big. I don't even want to say big. More so mainstream games. I guess there's kind of two branches to it. Because on the one hand, you'd have like the stupid shit like microtransaction riddled mobile game and Roblox minigame and that type of shit, which I feel like I'm already too old for that. I was, I grew up on a different kind of game. But instead, they've got my generation with, well, our generation, I should say, with the big AAA shit that has its own problems, of course, that people have been talking about for forever. And I never even set out to be...
I would say, like, it's something that's worth considering, is that me and you are, grew up in indie games.
I was about to say, like, you talked about Flash. I obviously played a lot of Flash games as a kid as well, and I was just saying, like, I have recently been... the point I was getting at is, like, I didn't intend to be, like... like a crusader against modern game design practices or whatever. Like, I am, more of a hobbyist game designer at this point, whereas you've done it professionally. But I'm still interested in game design. I still like to try to play games and see how things are going, but I guess I approach it... I don't know, I've not specifically gone out of my way to try to observe, like, what is the mainstream industry like right now. But even still, I've just found myself having waning interest. Every time I'm looking into, like, oh, what new games are coming out, I don't care about any of them, and on the rare occasion I do play one, I get kind of uninterested or disappointed in it. Like, even Nintendo.
The thing that kind of gets me, I understand what you're saying, and I think that the problem is, well, to be honest, I think the problem's you, and I think the problem's me. And the reason I say this is because we're, we did grow up, as you said, playing stuff like Flash games, we RPG Maker, stuff like that, just messing around with these things, to the point where we can, both see these practices and also kind of know where, kind of, like, without being kind of facetious, but the better time, when we didn't have to put up with this shit. But the thing is that, like, so I was talking to Sam about Pokemon, and, this was back when, Sword and Shield were released, and there was the whole, getting rid of the national decks and also getting the trees and stuff like that looking like, really shitty and stuff. And I kind of having a chat with him and saying about, like, it's a huge shame because it's a big dip in quality for the series. And he was like, oh, what are you talking about? I played the game, it's really, really good. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's like nowhere near
Is this the story where he said he hadn't played a Pokemon game before?
Yeah, he hadn't played a Pokemon game before, and that's the thing, is that, like, as much as I'm sitting here saying to Alfie, my nephew, that, he shouldn't really be playing, I was like, I don't understand why you want to play this game when there are so many better games out there to play. Right. He's like, well, no, I want to play this game because this is the one that all my friends are playing.
Yeah.
And all it is him running back and forth, basically doing a Tycoon cookie clicker-esque thing, where, something that isn't even, stylized or, kind of like silly cultural sort of thing like cookie clicker is, or, for lack of a better word, and I'm not trying to be like, all high and mighty with that, I'm being a bit facetious there, but, like, you can accept it's a bit silly and stuff like that, but, because I was talking to my brother, and my brother was like, oh, well, why is that a problem? Good that they're earning all this money, sort of thing. In the same way I was talking to Sam's partner, and Sam's partner, when I was saying about the microtransactions in Pokemon being absolutely disgusting, how,
this is in Go, right? This is in Pokemon Go?
Yeah, Pokemon Go, yeah, with they lead you in to say, oh, if you spend the entire month doing this one thing, you can get a Pokemon at the end. But they make it so that it's as difficult as possible, so that by the time that you oh, there's a pillager up here. By the time that you do spend the entire month doing it as a free-to-play player, you don't have enough levels to actually get you to the to get you to the end of the rank. So you have to then spend money on the plus 10 levels, plus 10 ranks, so you can get this Pokemon that you spent all this time doing. And you can't just pay for that, you have to pay for that plus the premium and all this sort of stuff. So it's all designed in this kind of predatory way. And Sam's partner was saying to me, well, they they have to do this because that's how they run the servers. That's how they do these sort of things, and it's kind of in a similar thing of like the whole kind of scare with Katie Scott being the new kind of lead developer for vanilla Minecraft, and everyone being like, oh, maybe she's going to bring the Bedrock marketplace to Java because her background is in monetization, and everyone's like, oh no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, but we'll see. But the thing is that it's like everyone's so accepting of that. And I was watching Phoenix's video, a YouTube creator from the kind of more technical side of Minecraft, and he said something that kind of struck with me, and it was whether it's the marketplace or not, Minecraft, if we want it to continue going, has to have a form of monetization, for the free updates, for these sort of things. And I was thinking about it, I was like, well, I should agree with that, but why don't I? And the reason I don't agree with that is the same reason why I don't agree that Pokemon needs money. It's the same reason I don't agree, sister stuff. And that's what they're called.
If I wanted to play vanilla Minecraft, if I wasn't completely broke, if I wanted to play vanilla Minecraft, I would pay a couple of £1 per update, per patch, just directly.
Yeah. But my point is that that you don't need, it doesn't need money anymore because of the what is it called when you buy something that is like related, like a hoodie or something like that?
Like merchandise?
Merchandise, yeah. The amount of merchandise sales that games like Pokemon and Minecraft have now, these are effectively just, they could stop making money off Minecraft forever, and they'd still, it's like Star Wars. Star Wars hasn't had anything good made with it. But
hey, Rogue One was okay.
But the thing is that people still buy Star Wars merch. People will always buy Star Wars merch. I don't even like Star Wars anymore, and I haven't liked Star Wars really since probably college. And yet I'm still, every year I'm bought Star Wars things because Star Wars is the go-to. Oh, they're a nerd, they like nerdy things. And it's one of those sort of things which is like,
I mean, I guess that option doesn't exist for everything. You kind of have to be as big as Minecraft or Pokemon to carry yourself for sure, sales. But
this is what I'm saying though, is that I understand from some perspectives that you don't have to. Not every game or every franchise has the ability to do these things. But oh yeah, of course, yeah. But what I'm saying is that when you do have these things, then you then have a kind of expectation or responsibility not to be a scummy dickhead about it. It's like you might say, "Oh, Charlie, that's asking too much."
Well, no one's holding them to that standard. Like, we can bitch and moan about it, but then we're not giving them money, and then the people who are happy with it are giving them money. So who are they going to listen to?
That's the thing. Yeah, the people who are happy with these things are willing to let them get on with it because it's the norm to them. It's like, look at something like Silk Songs. Team Cherry earned absolute bank off of Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
They charged once for the game. It sold really, really well. They released a bunch of free updates, and then never charged again. They then released Silk Song for like £16.
Yeah.
A game that's absolutely enormous in comparison to the original game. And I love Factorio, but even Factorio's devs, when they released the DLC, they charged £30 for it. And I'm happy to pay the £30 because it was an incredible DLC. But my point is that if you have the money, it's not that you have a responsibility to not charge as much. Charge as much as you want, but it's kind of like, at that point, it's like, are you doing it because you need?
Well, it feels like they don't appreciate the people that got them there.
Exactly, yeah, that's exactly it, yeah. It's the whole kind of concern of them introducing Marketplace into Java Edition is because that probably means they're going to start cracking down on mods.
Yeah.
And mods got, the fact that a lot of mods have actually been packaged and resold by Mojang affiliated developers on the Bedrock Marketplace. With no kind of money going towards the original creators. There's like 4 Aether mods on the Bedrock Marketplace. The Aether mod was made by, a group of people, I don't know how many people, but a group of people for Java for free, and yet if you want to play it on Bedrock, you have to pay for it. Because, Bedrock doesn't support mods. Bedrock's the main doing it and stuff like that. And it's like they know, Mojang knows what where these things came from. They know the backstory for a lot of these projects, but it doesn't matter to them. Yeah. Anyway, long story short, I had a bit of a grumpy part of that is the problem that if they're publicly traded shareholders. Yeah, exactly.
This is a wider economic problem, which I don't really. I don't know much about this topic more broadly. People say a lot of stuff about capitalism, or whatever. Like I don't really. I don't feel educated enough on the specifics of it to really speak on it. But like, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a unique problem to games. Like this type of thing has been observed in all sorts of products, which is what I was trying to say earlier is like I never set out to be like this person who had a very strong opinion on these things. Like, I mean, they can do what they want. I just I'm finding myself disappointed and uninterested more and more often. I mean, you were saying earlier, Joseph, that you haven't bought a AAA game since Doom Eternal. When was that? 2020? I don't think I've bought a AAA game since Pokemon Violet. Which, Pokemon Violet has its own problems. I do still kind of like that game anyway. Before that, I bought, like, one other game earlier that year and one in 2021. I've seriously not bought a new AAA game in, like, 3 years. And the only, like, I might eventually get Prime 4 if I get a Switch 2. Once again, I know it's playable on Switch 1, but whatever. Also, that game was not well received, but anyway. Let's not even get into that. Literally the only thing I've been excited for Nintendo-wise in ages is fucking Tomodachi Life 2. Which is a stupid game where you make your Miis do stuff and then laugh at them. Which I'm basically just interested in getting for fucking around on stream. It's not even like I'm really taking... I mean, it's still a valid game, but it's not what you think of when you think of like a modern... mainstream developer release or whatever. It's I'm just not interested, and I found myself more and more in wanting to have new fun gaming experiences. I've just been turning to indie recommendations, and I mean thank God at least we have indie developers, and at least that's marginally, I don't even know if I would say it's profitable, but it's it works well enough that people have access to make these things and to share them with people. I'm glad we have the internet. We have Steam and itch for all their problems. I wish I could be more interested in the big releases. I just don't care. They take forever to come out. They have these huge hype cycles. They cost fucking everything, and then they're nothing. Joseph's right, you should write op-eds for gaming publications. You okay?
So I think my problem is I'm just becoming a grumpy old man. I'm gonna be honest. It's because like in recent years it's not just been games and stuff like that, but I think it just because things keep hitting very close to home is the best way to put it. I got into computers, I got into programming, I got into using a lot of these kind of things, Windows and stuff like that. Having to do any kind of modding and stuff like that, required me to figure out how this stuff worked and so on and so forth. And like the reason I shifted to Linux was just because I was getting so like viscerally angry at how bad Windows is sometimes. And I'm not going on the Linux rant because in the same time Linux is terrible, don't get me wrong, computers are just terrible, I hate computers, even though that is literally my job. But
no, I feel that
my kind of point is that a lot of things that I guess I once enjoyed, it doesn't feel like I'm growing out of them, because it like I know some people say, oh, I just don't have time for games and as such I fell out of love with them. I don't feel like that. I want to play games. I was playing a bit more Silksong earlier with Ewan, and we were trying to do the speed runs and stuff like that. And like I really enjoy games still. I'm enjoying playing Minecraft. Even if at the moment I'm just running in circles in the base because I forgot what I was doing.
Yeah.
Um, but my kind of point is that it feels like something else has changed, and the more I look at these things, it's like, okay, well, everything just feels like it's not that it's getting worse; it's that it's getting taken away.
Mm.
Um, it's
Just
I
perverse
can deal
incentives
with.
are, you know, making
Yeah,
it
exactly. Yeah,
not what it once
and
was.
it's one of those sort of things which is, I just look at these things and I'm like, why? Like I understand, obviously, as
The forces of the
uh,
market, right?
as Base Gremlin said, a lot of it is, behind shareholders and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
playing it safe for a lot of games because they want to just create the next thing, and so a lot of big games are kind of becoming like that. But not even just that, it's like the kind of self-respect for games has gone, like for the games franchise, in that
Yeah.
sort of sense. Like,
Oh
I don't
yeah,
remember,
I
I
get
told you
that.
before, but
I mean, I've
I
just
was.
lost interest in like. I mean, it's only a matter of time before. I mean, it's already happened to Zelda. It's happened to Pokemon. It's only a matter of time before it happens to basically everything I care about. I was kind of like, oh well, at least I have Metroid, and Prime 4 had kind of issues. I believe they can learn from those and make them better. The question is, will they? And I liked Dread. Who knows if the next game will be as good as Dread? And even Dread, a lot of people didn't like, but I at least they made a good game. I don't know. It's a fully featured game. No, like it. No.
I mean,
It's
the thing that really got me, um, I liked Breath of the Wild. I was a little bit disappointed in certain aspects of Breath of the Wild, Base Gremlin. I
I
didn't like Tears
respect
of the
Breath of the
Kingdom.
Wild. I respect it for trying something new. I don't respect Tears for taking the same thing and doing it again, and in many ways making it worse.
Yeah, the what I mean specifically when I talk about games companies not respecting their properties, and this is the perfect example for it. Is I was on Reddit, just scrolling through things. It's fine to like games out. You're a good base gremlin. But I was scrolling through Reddit and I saw an ad, and I'm sure many people have seen ads like this sort of thing, where it shows you one thing, and then it shows you another thing, and then it shows you another thing, and eventually it advertises a game that's fake. It's the
Yeah.
whole kind of like shitty mobile game ad things. Everyone sees it, but for whatever reason, I stuck around and I watched this thing, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And first of all, it started off with three characters walking. Two characters were standing there, and one character said goodbye and walked off through a gate. Then all of a sudden, he was eaten by a zombie, and the two characters ran over and quickly slammed the gate. All 3D kind of animated sort of thing.
Yeah,
They
I've
then
seen
ran
this.
over and ran over to like a shelter, shut themselves in, and then the camera panned to a Fallout Shelter esque rip off kind of game, um, and like oh, by the way, Autumn. One of the reasons why I wasn't doing those yet is I was going to see if we can get a different jetpack with the pneumaticraft stuff because it's a
Oh,
pain in the
okay.
ass to do. So I wouldn't worry about that if you're struggling
Eh,
because it is really
I
annoying.
found a I found a
Yeah,
method.
it shifted to this Fallout Shelter game, now where everyone is like 2D sprites and stuff like this, and they're still running away from zombies and they're doing blah blah blah, right?
Uh-huh.
Then after it showed this, it then faded to white, and the camera zoomed out, and uh, it said Final Fantasy Mobile, and it was a genuine ad for a Final Fantasy mobile game,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in the corner, it had gameplay that looked like Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah.
So not only was this a shitty fake mobile game ad sort of
I
thing
remember
that
you
you
telling me
typically
this.
see, it was for Final Fantasy, one of the most well-known franchises
Yeah.
in all
Long
of gaming
legacy, well
history.
respected. Mm.
Yeah, exactly. Long legacy, well respected, and just such I was like genuinely gobsmacked. I was like, I can't believe they've stooped this low. Like, because this was off the back of like 14 and 13, no, 14 and 15, sorry, being released. You know, uh, And like, well, 14 had been out for a while since then, but yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah, but that's the thing though, elusive in is that people will look at that and say, oh well, it's just a meme. It's okay. It's fine to advertise like that. But it's one of those sort of things which is again, I don't think it's like a generational thing because I don't know how old you are and stuff
It's
like
kind
that.
of
Where it's just
embarrassing.
because yeah,
If you liked the
where it's
games
just
before.
like because I have higher expectations because I was
Yeah.
brought up playing a lot of these games. As a very very young kid, I was playing like on like hand me down Game Boys from my cousins and stuff like that,
Mm.
of like the Pokemon games and Final Fantasy and stuff. So like I understand like this was a very well respected franchise and they cared a lot about it, and then for them to then treat it like that in this kind of like, oh, we're gonna make it really shitty, and like a lot of again like modern stuff, and this does my head in as well, is at Marvel Rivals. You look at Marvel Rivals, people seem to love Marvel Rivals, but you look at the advertising on Reddit, and they show the skins, and the skins for the women are always basically wearing a thong and walking around shaking her ass, and then you show the skin for the for Venom, and it's like a kind of uh, kind of like sweet monster kind of like pink thing, and he's like twerking and jiggling his bar, and it's deliberately meant to look ridiculous, sort of thing. So it's like this isn't what the game, is. It's a hero shooter thing. Like I don't know enough about Marvel Rivals admittedly to say that for certain, but I know enough about Marvel, and stuff like that to know that these are serious characters, sort of thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
why are you advertising your game like this? It's fine if you have a silly skin in the game, that's fine. Who cares about that? But if that's all you're advertising the game as is just this kind of like, oh look at me, I can be so random and gross and sexualization and stuff like that. It's like, and I'm not like hugely against sexualization in games and stuff like that. I couldn't care less. But again, it's about treating the franchises with enough respect that you acknowledge that these franchises have history, these franchises have
Yeah.
players.
It's like it's one thing when
them.
it kind of makes sense in context. If it's like a character that is supposed to be like sexy or uses their sexuality, or like sexuality is an important part of the character or something like that.
Yeah, you look at something like Catwoman. Her whole thing is kind of that she like obviously that's DC, not Marvel, but her whole thing is kind of she uses like her seductive nature to kind of get information off of people and steal things, and gets away with it because she's like, oh, she's a little bit flirtatious and stuff like that, and like you can kind of like understand that for that character, but yeah, I don't know, it's yeah, as I said, it's fine to have these kind of games as well. I'm not against this kind of stuff. You can have it, but it's the only stuff at the moment, and everyone seems to just be accepting it. Accepting microtransactions, accepting. Oh, for that bit there, Autumn, I must have forgotten to break the wall, and the schematic cannon didn't do it properly.
Oh, is this not supposed to have little triangles here?
It is supposed to have the triangles, but it's meant to have the thing dug out.
Oh.
So if you look behind you, you should see it correctly.
Oh.
Potentially.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
The rest of it should be behind it. It's just because I had to break down all the white concrete to actually make it so that the airspace would be there. Yeah, and as I said, everyone, I think it is just I'm being a bit of an old man with a lot of these things, and
no, I mean it's not unreasonable to.
no,
like I said, I wish that I could like modern Zelda, modern Pokemon. With regards to the respect thing, I don't know. There is an extent. I've complained about this on stream as well before. This specifically, but something that really pisses me off about Zelda is, Zelda specifically is the interview where Eiji Aonuma was asked about oh, what about the fans who want the old style of Zelda games and, prefer those to the modern ones? And he basically, I thought that I mentioned this to somebody the other day, and I thought maybe I'm being uncharitable and remembering it a little bit less favorably, but no, he literally says this in, basically these exact words. I don't remember the exact words, but he was just like, I don't really understand why anybody would want to go back to the old style of Zelda games. I suppose there is like nostalgia and stuff like that, but you know, nowadays we've advanced, you know, gaming, and we've, you know, managed to make something that's better. Basically, is what he said. He was just like, no, if you prefer the old style of Zelda game, you're just nostalgia.
You're wrong. Yeah.
And it's like the only reason they're sticking with I don't want to say the only reason, but the primary reason that they're sticking with the way that like the modern style of Zelda game against the fact that, you know, many of the older fans like the older games is just because if you look at the sales figures of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom compared to everything else, it's crazy. I saw an infographic about this yesterday. Breath of the Wild sold like, I think it was like 33 million copies, and Tears sold like, I want to say 27 million. And then, do you want to guess what the third best-selling Zelda game was?
Probably Skyward Sword. No, actually, probably Ocarina.
It was Ocarina of Time. Okay, compared to about 33 mil for Breath of the Wild and like 20-something for Tears, how much do you want to bet Ocarina sold in its lifetime? 7 million.
7 million. Oof.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild and Tears combined probably dwarf the entire rest of the series. So of course they're not going to go back and make the old ones. The new ones sell. It's not even about selling. The Zelda fan base now is made up primarily. The vast majority of Zelda fans right now are people who did not play a Zelda game before Breath of the Wild. And so that is the franchise now. The franchise is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Most Zelda fans are people who like that. They've literally come into our own franchise and supplanted us. So we just don't have a home there anymore.
Yeah, it's a hard one because it's while I do understand, you know, the frustration, I also do understand why it changes. But it is one of those sort of things which is, you know, it's kind of
it's
like,
just, it doesn't feel like the
know,
same
people
franchise to me
saying
at that point. If they want to make games like that, that's
it's
fine.
not. It's-
I just don't know why it has to mean that the franchise that I liked is dead, you know, in the form that I liked
it's
it.
kind of one of those sort of things which is Zelda there's two different things. There's Zelda as a genre and Zelda as a franchise. In the same kind of way as, you know, you could have a Metroid game that is, you know, a dating sim. You know, that's not doesn't mean
Metroid
it's not
High
a
School.
Metroid game. But you know what I mean? Like it's not a Metroidvania. And so you have something like Hollow Knight, which, you know, or, you know, something else, you know, along those kind of lines, which are Metroidvanias, but they're not Metroid games.
Yeah.
And the problem is that with Zelda, like Zelda is both a not platform, a type of game, a genre of a game, as well as a you know, series. So when people think, oh, the Zelda series, they think because it's primarily only ever been, you know, kind of like how Metroid games have primarily only ever been Metroidvanias, you know, they think that is what that is.
Do you know what's crazy? There are tons of good Metroidvanias. There's like basically no Zelda likes. There's a little game you might have heard of on the PS2 and then it got ported called Okami. That's a good Zelda game, even though it's not a Zelda game. I've basically played no others.
Is it Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy? It's such a weird niched game.
I do own that.
Yeah,
I should play it.
It is very good. It's a little bit slow to get into because until you get certain upgrades.
Did you see that they if you own the game on Steam now, you can just straight up get access to the dev tools they used to make it?
Oh yeah, I've used them.
It's crazy.
They're a pain in the ass. Genuinely. I downloaded them. You have to have a right. So the way that the old dev tools worked is that it was some weird thing that you had to set up with like a. For them, you had to set up like a special server for it, and the dev tools would spoof for the server. It would spoof an S drive and an X drive, so that you could do it. So that basically meant you had to have a weird second. Partition your drive into two extra drives, which both copied each other for some reason. It was bizarre, yeah, effectively it was just really annoying. But ignoring the fact that I struggled with it, a lot of people have made mods for Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy now, which I've also played a couple of them. I played them back when it first kind of came on Steam and people started doing it. And they did an incredible job, like absolutely amazing job of some of the work.
Fuck, I really need to play those.
Um,
The things we're talking about here with like all these incentives to make to kind of turn the franchise into one particular thing, or to just expand it at all costs without regard for or respect for the legacy of it. Or I mean, I don't even care about the legacy of just the fact that it was one thing that people liked, and then they're like, well, fuck that, we'll turn it into whatever it needs to be to get as much money out of it.
To answer your question, Base Gremlin, I haven't played Echoes of Wisdom, unfortunately.
Oh, me neither. Yeah, sorry.
I've heard good things about it. I've heard bad things about it.
Right, same.
I was really interested in it up until, and admittedly this is because Tears of the Kingdom really fucked me over. I was really interested in it up until they showed the copying mechanic. So I was like, oh my god, it's going to be kind of like a Link to the, not a Link to the Past, a Link Between Worlds.
I love the Link Between Worlds though.
Oh no, yeah, I really like them so. I really like those games as well. But when I saw the copying mechanic, like, I was immediately kind of like, okay, I'm not interested in this for the time being because of the fact that I was worried that it would be heavily reliant on that gimmick. In the same kind of way that Tears of the Kingdom introduced the kind of building mechanic and stuff like that, and it didn't feel like it fit in with the game. It just felt kind of like a kind of weird gimmick that they slapped on. And because of that, I was a bit cautious about it. And I was like, okay, oh shoot, I just broke the rail. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to pick this up until I'm sure about it. But that said, no fault in Tears of the Kingdom, because I have heard it's a very good game. I have heard it's flawed. That's one, yeah, Echoes of Wisdom. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. I hate Tears of the Kingdom so much. And before anyone says, I played all of Tears of the Kingdom and tried to 100% it, so yeah. I know what I'm talking about with Tears of the Kingdom. Because I'm obsessive, and if I own a game, I try to play the game properly, which again also is a problem with me as well. So yeah, don't think that I'm kind of better off with this kind of stuff, because I know that having that kind of obsessive nature of wanting to do everything in the game. I know most games nowadays are kind of designed to say you pick it up, you play until you get bored, and then you put it down.
Yeah, I don't like that though.
It's fine to like Tears of the Kingdom better than Breath of the Wild by Base Gremlin. It's just my opinion. In the same way that's your opinion, that's fine to have, and if you kind of think that way, then that's fine. And so don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yeah,
that sounds kind of condescending. As that sound, I don't mean to make that sound condescending.
Like for the record, we've been drawing comparisons between like the way Zelda has been handled versus like we're literally putting them right next to like here's a shitty mobile ad for some Final Fantasy mobile game. It's not remotely the same thing.
Yeah.
But they both feel to me like symptoms of ways that games have changed, and ways that like things that happen to large franchises as they go on that I'm not fond of in either case, and are related to similar market incentives, I guess is what I would say. I do at least think. I mean, I said earlier, like, I can't even really trust Nintendo anymore. That's more of a, I'm just not vibing with the types of games they're producing. At the very least, they do seem to have... never mind, I just flashed back to Mario Kart Tour. Usually, with the console releases at least, they have a bit more respect for their own franchises, but...
What was,
Mario Kart Tour is like a microtransaction-riddled...
Oh, shoot, yeah, sorry, I was thinking you were talking about World.
No. I'm talking about the mobile one. Yeah.
Yeah.
World is a different thing. World is... They tried something new with it, and some people liked it, and some people didn't, and whatever.
Now, I have heard some good things about World, so
I foresee a similar thing happening with Mario Kart World as happened with Breath of the Wild, where a bunch of people had issues with it, but then it's going to have sold better than all the other Mario Karts anyway, so they're just going to keep doing that. And not address the problems, because who cares, it's still making the money. Yeah, this is why I just don't... I try not to get attached to franchises anymore, specifically. Like I said, I'm not really... Not that there's really been anything announced specifically. I mean, we know that they're working on the next Zelda game. We don't know anything about it. I basically just don't give a shit. I've stopped following that. I've stopped caring about it. Like I'll look, but I'm not waiting with bated breath for the next thing. I basically
Yeah.
have, for the most part, shut myself away from all that, and all I'm really playing nowadays are just like little indie games that I hear about, and I'm like, oh, that seems interesting, and then I try it, and it's almost always way more worth my time and money, especially because smaller projects end up feeling more personal. And this is another thing I was gonna say is like, not just with games, but as a lot of stuff has kind of enshittified and been, perverted by these perverse market incentives to do all this stuff that makes it, less palatable to me specifically, I found myself turning more and more away from I mean, I was never like a movie person in general, but like I'm certainly not going to start now. I have basically no incentive to go, because it's people have been saying for ages it's all just sequels and remakes. But the problem is, because I was not a movie person when I was younger, it's sequels and remakes of stuff that I never even got into in the first place. So the only movies I'm watching are when I go back with like Josh and that, and we go and watch like old movies that I've never seen. Like, I was telling you recently that I went and watched Home Alone. I've never seen Home Alone before, but it's an old movie that's well regarded. I want to go see like the Indiana Joneses. I want to see the Back to the Futures. I want to see that stuff because they were something new and interesting. But anyway, at least at the time, and so they're going to be a fresh experience for me. Whereas stuff nowadays just doesn't take my interest. And as I've lost interest in a lot of this stuff, I found myself turning more like most of what I get out of how do I put this? Most of what I look forward to nowadays is just opportunities to connect with people, be that hang out with my friends, but also I feel like the indie games kind of counts with that, because being smaller, more personal projects, a lot of them feel like you can kind of feel like you're kind of getting a sense of the creator's personality and like way they see the world and stuff like that, and that's really interesting to me, and
Yeah.
I like engaging with that way more than I like just, oh, the new game in big franchise that I like came out, let me play it and have some fun for 50 hours without really thinking about anything. Like, there are a few exceptions. There are still some things that are doing good work. Like, I think there is a good way to do like a bigger franchise. I mean, you were talking about Final Fantasy earlier. I've not played that many of the older games, but I really like Final Fantasy 14. They, the monetization model is mostly pretty sensible. Like, you pay for your subscription because MMOs are expensive and they have big servers. Like, the sub is honestly not that much personally for how much I play the game. And if you play the game less, you can, you can just not play it for a while and then play it later when you have more stuff to catch up on. You can pay a smaller amount for a shorter subscription time or something like that. But I play it basically at least 2, 3, or 4 times a week for several hours. So it's very much worth it for me to pay the, like, I want to say it's like £45 for 6 months or something like that. So considering how much I play it, genuinely worth it. But again, your mileage may vary. But in terms of like the story and stuff, and like, it's the type of thing where, the game has been running for years and years and years, and they could just, what's the phrase? Like, phone it in and just give people, like, fan service slop and just, not give a shit about what they're making. And they do base a lot of the stuff they add off of other Final Fantasy games, but they still do something new with it. And I am consistently excited for the new stuff that they add and playing that. And it helps as well that I'm playing it with other people, so it continues to be a social thing for me, and it's not just me playing a game. Though of course I do like playing single player games and stuff like that, but more and more I'm finding the only ones that I really feel like worth my time are stuff that are made by smaller developers and stuff like that. So yeah. I mean, to be fair, I can't really afford big games anyway. That's kind of the part I've not been mentioning is I am broke, so that is I kind of can only afford small indie games anyway. But I mean, I've genuinely been a lot happier with most of them. I swear, every time I spend more money, honestly, this applies in general. Like, fucking comparing this to food, On the rare occasion I have a little bit of extra cash and I'm like, fuck it, I don't feel like cooking, let me order something. I'm always disappointed. And I don't know how much of it is the quality of the food itself versus I feel bad for how much I paid compared to how good it was. But consistently, the food I feel like, the more I spend on food, generally the worse I feel about having spent it. And I'm always just like, I wish I'd just made something at home. It would have been way cheaper and it would have been sometimes nicer or sometimes only a little bit less nice. Like even spoons is not
Spoons is bad.
Spoons is not well. What I was gonna say is Spoons is not good quality, but because it's so much cheaper, I feel less bad about getting it.
I can't do that anymore.
Oh really?
It's gotten so expensive at Spoons.
Has it gone up? I haven't noticed.
It's gone up a lot, a lot.
Well, maybe I haven't. Maybe it's because I only started going with you guys relatively recently, like within the past year or two.
Like the kind of thing that you could always say with Spoons with like back when we started going in college and stuff like that, was that you could get quite a lot of food for not very much at all.
I see.
And then we started doing it on the regular, kind of going in, it just being a nice place to go sort of thing. And then they upped all of the prices of the drinks, then they upped all of the prices of the food, and it's just been going up and up and up and up and up. And
that makes sense, but although and don't get me wrong, the quality is not great, but at the very least, it costs less, and I feel less bad when I get it. So that just adds to my thesis of like the less I spend on money, the better I feel. The less I spend on food, the better I feel. Basically, regardless of quality, it's just not worth it.
I do agree. I you know what I'm like. I've got a very big sweet tooth sort of thing. So I used to, particularly when I was in Northern Ireland, I used to go to Tesco's, and sometimes I would just skip dinner sort of thing, and I just buy myself some sweets, which I know is bad. I don't recommend this to anyone on the listening to the listening to us, watching us. But the thing is that I would do that. I'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna spend £4 or something on sweets, and I'll be cool with that because I get quite a lot. Now, if I want to go to Tesco's, and I'll go there and I'll be like, I'll get some sweets or something like that, and I'll look at the sweets section. And again, this is kind of one of those sort of things which is like, you hear about people being like, I just lost my sweet tooth or something like that. No, I've still got my sweet tooth. I still want to have stuff like that, but I look at the cost of like how much they are, and like.
Yeah.
I'm staring at it and I'm like, I'm not going to spend, like £4 on the bag of Maltesers.
Yeah,
it's just
ridiculous.
not worth it. So
you know what's funny is like, so I've never had that big a sweet tooth, but I do like some sweets now and then. And when I was a kid, it was always like, we can't get them that often because, my parents aren't just going to get me sweets whenever I want. And also it, was money. I was always like, oh, okay, when I'm an adult, I can get them whenever I want. And now that I'm an adult, it's too expensive and it's not worth it. So I don't get it anyway.
It's one of those sort of things which is, whenever I go to the shops, me and Rihanna, we just, like, she's like, oh, would you want to get anything? She'll get, like, some cookies or something like that. Obviously, we're going to the shops for other things other than just sweets and stuff.
Right.
She'll go, okay, I'm going to go get some snacks. So she'll go over to the cookie aisle and, check if they're on offer. And if not, she'll get some bourbons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I'll be standing there just staring at, like, the Starbursts and things and, thinking, like, do I want any of this sort of stuff? And the answer I'm always standing there staring at is just no. It's just not worth it. Like, I could spend the money on this, or, I could... Well, just not.
I realized for me it's salty snacks because I've always been more of a salty tooth, and it used to be that like a big bag of Doritos was like £1, and now it's like £2.50 unless they're on sale. It's ridiculous.
Same with Pringles.
Yeah, same with Pringles.
It's like I'll sit there and even if I do kind of convince myself, okay, I'll just get them sort of thing. Who cares? I'm not doing this that often. I won't enjoy them at all.
Yeah, because you can just feel the empty space in your wallet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it tastes like.
And it's like I do this thing where like I walk over and I'm like, okay, I really want to I'll get some like M&Ms or something like that, and I'll pick up the bag and I'll immediately put it back because I was like, that is so unbelievably light for something that is going to be about £2.
Yeah,
So
and
I'm
that's
not
worth
spending
mentioning as
that
well. The
money.
bags have gotten smaller.
Yeah, it's this thing. It's same with like McDonald's as well, Gremlin, because it's like McDonald's used to be able to go there and spend £1 on a meal and that's it. It
You
wouldn't be
know,
a good meal. It would be
yeah, but
McDonald's,
it'd
which
be
would
cheap
pay.
and small,
But
and it'd be something.
yeah, now you want to go there. If you want to get like a chicken mayo meal, which is the cheapest chicken burger, which is the same as the cheapest like beef burger. So cheapest burger, whatever. It
It's
costs.
like £7 or something.
I think it's about £5.40
Mm.
if you wanted to get that. If you wanted to get one of the nicer burgers, like the Chicken Legend or something like that, then it's leading into £7, like £9 territories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
like, yes, a lot of it is inflation, and I know I can't
That's
control inflation.
that.
But it's also
That's
not.
no.
It's
It's absolutely not. This is something that does my head in. Honestly, is the amount because I remember learning about inflation in history class in school, and we talked about it in the context of like post World War One Germany and stuff like that. Right? They had hyperinflation specifically, where money basically became worthless because stuff was there was too much money in and it lost the value.
Yeah.
And they compared it to like inflation normally is a thing that happens, but it's very slow. It's like a tiny amount every year. So stuff creeps up in price, but it's not that fast. And anytime I see some product go from like the Doritos example, a bag for £1, then a smaller bag for like £2.50. That is not inflation. That has literally gone up like for the amount you're getting is basically triple the price. That's not inflation. It's just not. It doesn't go that fast.
Yeah, it's just like I like part of it. Obviously, you can't rule out like a tiny portion of it as inflation.
A tiny bit, but it should have.
But
you know what it is? In the past 5 years, I'm just going to throw out a number. I would expect a £1 bag of Doritos under just normal inflation and nothing else affecting it to go from £1 to maybe like £1.20 or like £1.25, something like that. It shouldn't be £2.50. That's not inflation. They're just lying.
Yeah.
Using inflation as an excuse to price gouge.
Price gouge.
Yes. Yeah. And it's basically the same model as like God, this has just turned into us bitching about modern economy stream. We've been going for over an hour on this. But I'm fine with it. It reminds me of the same shit as like Uber. Which I don't know if we have it in Eastbourne anyway, but in places where they've had it, the model was basically, I'm not sure if you know this, Charlie, but what they did was, they used to be very cheap, specifically to price out other taxi companies, so people would say, well, obviously I'm going to pick this because it's cheaper. And then, all the other options go out of business, and people are hooked on this service, and then they crank it up. Same thing with, like, Netflix. Oh, wow, what a great service that I get all this access to TV and movies for only this much a month. And then people get used to it being a part of their life, and they crank it up. It's psychological manipulation at that point.
It's not even that. It's to basically remove competition from the market.
There's two factors. One is to remove competition. Two is to get people used to it being a part of their life. So they're like, well, I'm not just gonna stop watching Netflix or whatever. See, I'm lucky because I never even got into that in the first place. I never had it. So I'm not interested, and I have my methods if I want to go watch something, which is becoming increasingly the only sensible option a lot of the time. But
the thing is that it's like and this is kind of what I was like talking to like Rihanna about and stuff like that. I do understand why piracy is bad and stuff like that. But I always go back to the thing that Notch said.
I don't think it is.
No, but if say for example I was going to pirate Silk Song, that's a game that and I'll use Silk Song to end of time because it's a great way of describing a product that has brilliant quality and a very very reasonable price.
Mm.
So it's like they're not trying to screw you over with price. They're not trying to do a fast one on you and sell you something that's kind of shitty.
I don't. For the record, I don't think piracy is always good, but I think that it is often good.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sorry, but the thing is that like
it's necessary as well. Like it's important that piracy exists as an option for preservation reasons as well. But go on.
There are so many things nowadays that you want to watch, like a piece of media. That piece of media has been like distributed, its license been stripped and stuff like that so much that you can't watch that anymore because if you do want to watch it, you have to have a Hulu subscription, you have to have an Amazon Prime subscription, you have to have an Apple TV subscription, you have to have a Netflix subscription, you have to have you have all of these different things because you don't just buy Netflix and every single episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender is on there because book 1 and book 2 might be on there, but book 3 is going to be on Amazon Prime. Book 4 is going to be on this, that, and the other. Obviously, I haven't checked whether or not Amazon the Airbender is on there. But look at Pokemon, for example.
Oh yeah.
That's
there was that thing where someone calculated how much you'd have to spend to actually watch the entire series because you would need the different.
I haven't seen it. I just know it as a fact is that you can't watch all this stuff in one place, and it's an absolute nightmare. And yet you kind of are like, okay, well, what option do you have? You can either spend an absolutely insane amount of money on this, or you can pirate it. And it's one of those sort of things which is, yes, the argument is always, well, just don't watch it then. And while that's true, it's one of those sort of things which is, what if you've already spent, you've bought Netflix because it's got Pokemon on there and you want to watch it. And then...
Can you see my screen, by the way? Are these supposed to be white concrete, these ones?
The ones in the middle are. The ones on the edge are meant to be andesite casing.
The andesite sheet metal. Okay.
Yeah. So like, say for example, you purchase Netflix because you know that this is on there, and you've purchased the year's subscription. When they take off the license, do you get your money back? No, you don't. So it's one of those sort of things which is they know what this model's doing, and it's a complete one-way transactional street. It's
I mean, you don't
have any.
So, you don't own things anymore as all the games as a service, the John Deere shit. I don't even know if that was like resolved or what happened with that, but there's the thing of like people not being able to own a right to repair and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Same thing, squeezing everything, so you don't own anything and you'll pay more for less.
But it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier on with games as well, though. Is because I talk to my parents and I talk to my brother and stuff like this, and the answer they always tell me it's like, oh well, who cares? Who cares?
I care.
It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me. Sort of thing is, oh, you're just lazy and you don't want to spend the money, or
I don't want to work more for less to have less to spend on less.
Yeah. And because I was talking to my brother about me working on the Deep Dark, and he was saying and I was moaning at him about the apps and stuff like that on the phone, and basically going over what I've been talking about this. And he was saying, well, why don't you do it then? I was like, what do you mean, why don't I do it? And he's like, why don't you sell it all? Basically, just make one of these shitty things that are just a clone of something else, and then try and get a bunch of money from that. And I was like, because I have some self-respect.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I could do this. I know how to make games. It's not impossible to do this. I could also probably put on a fake voice using a voice modulator, call up old people's homes and tell them that their family's sick and ask for their money.
Yeah, the difference is one's illegal
business models.
and the other one is scummy but legal. But it's
exactly.
You shouldn't be using
it's one of those sort of things which is
metric. Mm-hmm.
If we're just drawing the line at where we say, okay, what is allowed and what isn't allowed, and what is right and what is wrong is what is legal, because legality doesn't define morals.
Of course.
Yeah, sorry, that's why I stopped doing that over there, Autumn, because it was really annoying. I kept falling down because of the 25 limit on the jetpack.
I see.
Those are meant to be triangle pieces, but for some reason they didn't place in the corner.
That's fine.
Yeah, because we're talking about it, and he was going because he does some volunteering at like an old people's home
Mm.
sort of thing, and like chats and that again. He's going on about how like the whole thing is a business, and
Yeah, of course.
why would they need to go through the effort of doing all this sort of stuff, that the only effort they need to go to is to enough to make it look like they're doing a good enough job, so that then they can earn money to then
Mm-hmm.
continue.
Yeah.
Basically old people care is a business, and to do that. And he was saying this, and he didn't realize, obviously, but he's obviously saying it directly in front of my mum. And at the moment, I'm not gonna worry about saying it on stream, but my sister died, a few months ago,
Yeah.
and she was in supported care, and it's like her whole thing at the moment that she's been fighting for with this, the government petitions and stuff like that, is that these places that are given shit tons of money to care for these people actually need to put the care in and not just pretend they're doing it,
Yeah.
and just do the smallest amount of it they can do to then say, oh, this is a way of we can get more clients effectively because we're looking good enough that we can do this, and then we can just pocket all the rest of the money. And it's
Yeah.
like the fact that everyone seems to be kind of under the impression that well, actually no, it's okay for that to happen as long as because it doesn't affect me, because it going back to the games, because I don't play those games, so it doesn't matter if they're shitty mobile games and stuff like that, because I'm not going to spend the money on that. It's I'm not a kid. I'm not wasting
It's
all of my money on Roblox. I'm not developing.
if we're
these
not
bad
gonna
habits
have
for it.
if we're not gonna have standards, we're just gonna say, well, it doesn't affect me. Well, it doesn't affect me. It's gonna affect someone in some area, and
Yeah. And
like
you're literally using me as an example. Look at how it affected my sister.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, and it's
that's what I mean.
it is. No, I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
like a bad thing or like to
Mm.
bring down the stream or anything like that. I'm just saying it's this expectation of you know if it
And
doesn't affect you, then who cares?
Yeah,
And
and
it's such a terrible way of looking at it.
you know, sweets and video games and TV shows are like, you don't need them. It's whatever to an
No, yeah,
extent,
exactly.
but it's a symptom of the larger trend that affects everything,
Probably.
and it's always affected vulnerable people. People who are poor, people who are mentally unwell, people who have just any other circumstance in their life that makes their life more difficult for people, and makes it so they rely on stuff. People who are disabled and need their medicine, stuff like that. Like, you know, fucking could. Thank God it's not even worse. Like with I'm always hearing about how much people have to pay for insulin in America and stuff like that with if they have diabetes. Exact same thing, and it's
Yeah.
because people don't care about it for the stuff that is small scale. They're not going to care about it for the stuff that's bigger either. I feel like regardless of whether an individual case quote unquote matters that much, I think it's still good to have standards and morals that we hold ourselves to about this stuff.
Yeah, I think this is a kind of you hit the nail on the head here, is the kind of big thing that I think the world needs to realize is, yes, we're using examples of obviously I'm not just talking about us, but like
Mm.
in people in general sort of thing, using the examples of piracy of media, and games being overly expensive, or buying commodities to make sweets, or kind of things that people enjoy and stuff like that. But really, it is a grander scheme of things. You've got housing and stuff like that. You've got public transport is
Yeah, public
disgusting in
transport.
Britain.
Yeah, like if you don't have a car, if you
It's
need to get somewhere, you're relying on these services that are fucking businesses that
just expensive.
don't
Yeah.
care about you, don't have
Yeah,
standards.
and it's one of those sort of things which is like we use the examples of media because it is something that is very easy for us to point to because we are knowledgeable in that kind of sense. It is something that everybody understands.
Mhm.
We use the example of sweets because it is very easy to kind of say, oh, this is an anecdote about this
Yeah.
thing that I can describe in this case. It's a lot harder for us to be like, oh yes, I was buying my third house today because of this thing, and it was actually cheaper than my last two houses because obviously I haven't bought a house ever. So it's hard to then be able to use those as examples. So it's easier to say okay, these are these smaller things, these are the examples we can give, but at the same time, people need to, I guess, understand, from like politicians and stuff like that when they hear people talking about these kind of things, that it's not that people are complaining about not being able to buy sweets. It's not that people are complaining about their rights to a game that is cool is being something they liked from their childhoods are being stripped away, sort of thing. It's more that there is a series of very obvious patterns that are occurring that people can very clearly see, but nobody wants to do anything about because of the fact that the people that earn the money are the ones who don't care about it. The people who can make the changes here again don't care about it, because why would they? And that's the thing, is kind of the thing. It's like exactly 5K for 8 stitches, and it's like I've heard of like people just refusing to use ambulances in America because they know it would just bankrupt them. It's like, that's not on. But the problem is instead of people looking at stuff and saying America's terrible for it, but like instead of people looking at this and saying this is ridiculous, they'll instead look at it and say, oh well, you were being an idiot and you were you hurt yourself, or you were trying to
everyone gets hurt
abuse
sometimes.
the medical system. Or or maybe you should have just stopped being lazy and earned a bunch of money like everyone else in the country. It's like exactly it's like because it's something that Lewis Rossman once said is when someone talks about say for example they are they have an iPhone, for example. I think this is what he's talking about is they've got an iPhone, and the iPhone they get an update, and now all of a sudden they can't use Bluetooth headphones because of the fact that they have to pay for a monthly subscription. So what the typical human response is, which everyone seems to always do, is, why did you get an iPhone? Apple's a piece of shit. What do you expect? Right? Which is true, It's kind of like, that is, what do you expect? But at the same time, we shouldn't be like...
Sorry, is this supposed to be White Concrete Slab one?
That should be andesite. Use an axe for that, because it's technically wood.
Okay.
So instead of like being like, oh it's your fault for purchasing this phone when you should have purchased a Google Pixel or something like that, because Google would never do that, which is a blatant lie. Instead we should be like, well no, actually that's completely wrong, and Apple shouldn't be able to do that. Obviously I'm using this as an example. Obviously Apple is
God, this is the word. This is a horrible comparison, but I'm reminded of it anyway, which is a bit from a comedy set I saw a few years ago, where somebody was talking about how when they were in college, or they're Americans, so this is uni basically. They were saying like there used to be like fraternities, right, where like boys would live and they would hold parties, and there'd be some you would have to hear like, there were some fraternities that are like, oh, don't go to a party there, they roofie people, and he would go, oh my god, should we do something about it? And they're like, no, just don't go. It's like, okay, but someone's not gonna know. Like, I mean, obviously that's the joke, but like, it's absurd.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's something that and this isn't like the same kind of thing, but it's something that I actually experienced the other day. Is in one of my lessons was one of the students came up to me and they said to me. They came out with this massive grin on their face, and I was like, okay, instantly I know he's going to try and test me on something, or whatever he's going to ask.
God,
and he's like, sir. I was like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, so this was during the break, so
he's calling you sir, and you're a uni lecturer?
Yeah, I don't know, college lecturer.
College. Oh, well, still, even college is for me. College is the point where
half of them call me Charlie, the other half call me Sir. It's a bit weird. I don't know why they do that.
When I was in college, everyone just used the teacher's name. But...
Yeah, I've told them to just call me my first name. For some reason, this girl just call me Sir.
Okay.
And a couple of them still do, even though I find it a bit weird. But I don't care at this point. I'm gonna do what you want.
Yeah.
But he came over to me and said, he goes, "Sir," and he shows me this meme, and it's a meme with a very, very conventionally attractive woman, and it says, "Would you rather?" And it was a Marxist daughter with this very conventionally attractive woman, or a Saviour of the Sun, and it was a femboy, basically, basically a man in like
Yeah, I know
like,
what a femboy is, Charlie. Does make sense.
I'm just trying to describe it. It was like in pink, like.
I'm pretty sure the chat knows what femboys are as well.
But my point is he was trying to call me out, catch me out on this thing of like, oh, would you rather having a Marxist daughter or a child, dresses
Is
up
it
as
normal to send to show your teacher memes?
The thing is that it's one of those sort of things where yes, because it's a games course, they seem to be very friendly with the teachers
I see.
in that kind of degree, so it's kind of a bit of an odd thing. There's also one of those sort of things that I think it was more that he was testing me to see, oh, am I going to be like, oh, Marxism bad, blah blah blah, or whatever. Because the thing is, I don't have a clue of anything about Saviour or Brad. Don't have a clue. So I basically just turned around to him and I sat there because obviously he's trying to get a reaction out of that, and he's trying to say one group is bad, one group is wrong, sort of thing. Whether it's me being like, oh, I don't like femboys, or I don't like, Marxists and stuff like that. One of these is bad, sort of thing, and how am I going to describe that sort of thing? I just turned around to him and I was like, look, I said, I couldn't care less what political leaning my children have if I had a child. I said, the thing about it is trying to understand why they think that way. I said, politics, it's one of those sort of things which is, it's a kind of a fool's game if you just don't jump into one camp. It's like I said to him, I said that in some cases, I would say that I agree with a lot of socialist policies, but human nature dictates I don't think socialism would work. In the same way, I don't think capitalism works because of the fact that human nature dictates that.
Depends on what you mean by works, I guess, as well.
Huh?
Depends on what you mean by work as well, I guess.
In kind of a flawless system, there won't ever be problems.
Well, yeah, no,
there's always going to be
no
problems.
system's going to have a perfectly rational agents, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what I was getting to him at. Is basically, you can't. We're not robots. We can't.
See, I think you probably failed the moment that you addressed his question seriously. But I guess you are a teacher, so you're supposed to.
But the thing is that, I
impart
think I succeeded brilliantly because of the fact that the second I started talking about this, the smile dropped from his face and he looked completely miserable. So I think I succeeded very, very well.
You know what? Fair enough.
So he was looking at me, and I was saying to this, and I was going on about it, and I said about how really people should stop worrying about what people's political affiliations are and start trying to understand why people feel the certain ways they do.
Because everybody's got their needs unfulfilled, and they're trying to figure out how to fulfill those needs one way or another. And
yeah. And I eventually ended the conversation and said, I was like, but anyway, ignoring the politics aside, going back to your original question, would I rather have the boy or the girl? I said, I'd rather have neither because I don't want children.
Right.
And he kind of was just like, right, okay then, sir, thanks, and then walked off. But it kind of brings up the main point of what I'm getting at here is that it's always everyone's kind of gut reaction to jump into things with this kind of like, us versus them mentality.
Yeah. Tribalism.
All Marxists bad, all femboys bad, all this kind of thing. It's like
that's my favorite political affiliation is femboy.
Exactly, yeah. But you know what I mean, which is like it's like
what concrete?
Yeah. The bit in the corner is white concrete. There is a missing part, I think, there that should be like a from the top it goes down with the metal, but I don't remember where it needs to go exactly.
Okay. We can figure that out later.
Yeah, I do think that's something that because it's kind of like base remnant, like what we were talking about earlier, like me and Autumn talking about how we didn't particularly enjoy Tears of the Kingdom, and
I never played it. I just I
oh, okay, well,
didn't particularly like Breath of the Wild.
I hate the break it.
Huh?
No, I'm joking.
No, see, the thing is, I saw a ton of gameplay of it. I saw our friend Joel play it. I say me and Joseph's friend Joel. I watched him stream it. I watched numerous videos of people talking about the game. I talked to you about your experience with the game, and granted, those are all negative perspectives, but they all kind of confirmed the things that I was concerned about and the things that I thought that I wouldn't like about it, and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't like this. I mean, ultimately, quality is not objective anyway, but the point is that I'm probably not going to like this if I didn't like Breath of the Wild and they didn't change the stuff I didn't like about it.
But yeah, kind of my main point, I guess, of that, kind of ignoring you in this case, because obviously you haven't played that kind of thing, and you're going off second-hand experience anyway with that.
Yeah.
But, things aren't black and white in that kind of sense. So this is what I was saying earlier on. I wasn't trying to be, and obviously I know you kind of made a joke about, us backtracking a bit, but I wasn't trying to, like, backtrack in the sort of sense of being like, oh, well, actually it wasn't that bad sort of thing. It was me trying to say that, like, people will enjoy things, people won't enjoy things, and there needs to be a kind of understanding on both sides for why these things are good and why these things are bad.
Yeah, I mean, even the worst person they're like still a real human person that you've got to, like, if we're gonna have any hope of to use the parlance, making it out of here, we've got to fucking know. I was going to say know your enemy, but they're not even our enemies. They're fellow human beings that also just need their needs met. We got to figure out how to live alongside them. And
yeah, it's not even, like, even if they were your absolute worst enemy. It's one of those sort of things which is it's why I always tell Evan to stop being so fighty with people.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if you go into a situation assuming the worst and you go into it being all in on the defensive,
yeah, it's just never going to work out.
Exactly, yeah. And then what ended up happening, when we, had Evan and Ewan over is, Evan came in with a good mood and wasn't in a bad mood, even though he was convinced, all hell was going to break loose. And they ended up having a really good time. We played some games and watching Dandadan. We all had a really good time. And it's just because you put out the olive branch for things like that, and it's.
I like how you're just airing. Oh yeah, so two of my friends have this beef. Not like they're gonna watch this anyway, but it's just funny.
No, it's one of those sort of things which is like like it's beef that doesn't matter anymore. It's beef that kind of never mattered. There is some degrees of things that there are people that I don't think I would ever be able to see eye to eye, and
you don't have to see eye to eye with them, but you have to acknowledge that you're going to live in the same world as them, and you can't just kill them and be done with it. You have to find a way to live in the same world as them. And if a lot of people are going to say, I mean, but a lot of people are going to say, like, okay, but all those people are, like, voting for things to try to kill me, basically. Yes, but you can't kill them back to fix that. That's not going to work. Like, there still has to be another way to do this.
In the same kind of way that this kind of goes back to the thing of, like, the people that are like, I'll use you as an example, or something, like people who are really anti-trans, I think, like the point where they fully think that it's like they're convinced that trans people are like sneaking into children's hospitals and injecting babies of estrogen, sort of thing.
Yeah,
it's like
I've only done that twice.
There are people. Rookie numbers. Even I've done it more times than that. But like, what I mean? It's like those people. You're not going to convince them by or because there are so many people there that believe these things, and they believe these things because there are people out there who, for some reason,
who are making money off of convincing them that it's true. Basically,
yeah. So, you convincing them that you being like, oh, you're a bad thing, and this is why the whole kind of like thing of like Gamergate and stuff like that really sucked for people with like on the kind of like that kind of like LGBT stuff, because it pointed the enemy at people, at gamers and stuff like that, and said, this is the problem. And then there was that conflict between the two. There was the rivaling factions of that sort of stuff. And it's like, well, no, it should be the case of talking about these things in a reasonable light. It's why I was saying earlier on about it's like, it's not wrong to have sex, for example, like a form of sexualization in games, but it has to have a purpose.
That topic still pisses me off as well, just because the fact that people still don't know what actually happened, because like there was provably collusion going on, and then it got drowned in
100%,
topics about whether or not people were sending harassment or stuff, and it's like that stuff did
100%.
happen, but one, people were talking about it happening before it really happened, and two, the people that were doing the harassment were not the same people who had raised the problems in the first place, by and large. Anyway,
this is my point though, is that the big leaders of kind of the side of the left, they kind of become more like the left versus the pseudo right, effectively, even if it wasn't a lot there was a big part of anti-LGBT stuff, and also kind of like just anti women and stuff like that on one side, as the kind of like small amount but like loud actors. But the majority of people were just general gamers who just were like, actually, there's a bunch of collusion here going on, sort your lives out. But the problem was because the side that was meant to be being like,
the media is powerful, and the media will paint whatever picture they want and get the...
Yeah, but the problem with the media was that they wanted, like, deep down, I don't think they wanted to have a big conflict. They wanted to have the ability to change the gaming industry to be more progressive, and that's fine. But the problem is that the way they went about doing it was so cack-handed and stupid.
I'm not convinced that the collusion was even to that end. I think those are two separate things.
Collusion-wise, I'm not talking about that.
Right.
Collusion-wise is a whole separate thing.
And like the paying for reviews and stuff like that. But the problem is, like, that's been happening even... Yeah, that's happening even with just mainstream game companies or whatever.
This is what I'm saying, there's kind of the two parts, is that, you have the, the collusion parts, you have the people rightfully against it, but then you have kind of the left-wing side, progressive side, who were like misunderstanding what it was and then trying to push against it in a kind of correct way, of like not correct way, but like in like a kind of politically correct way is what I'm trying to say here.
To be fair, I think a lot of people that were kind of bought the media story about it, it's because it was easy for them to believe, and it confirmed their existing kind of point of view on the subject, and it was easy for them to be like, oh, this is all just about people being like hateful assholes. I've seen hateful assholes, so I believe that this is probably what's happening, and then it flattens and drowns out the real important discussion, which is that was the point of it. That's what they wanted to do, is to stop people talking about the collusion. That's how they did it. Was focusing on that.
My point of it is that it's not wrong to have those discussions, even if they were in the wrong time and place. But it's not wrong to have them. But the problem is that there's so much vitriol in that discussion,
and people aren't going to trust people who are untrustworthy with with regards to collusion and stuff. They're not going to trust them to have a good faith like reporting on the subject and that type of thing.
Yeah. So
instead of turning it into some kind of rage bait for clicks or whatever.
Instead of both sides being, well, not really, it's actually maybe the one side being media in this case. Instead of them being like, okay, well, why don't we understand what the main problem is, and then trying to then say, okay, well, this is also one thing you want, this is one thing you want, sort of thing. We can have this discussion, and trying to actually talk between each other. It was immediately turned into an us versus them battle.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. It wasn't even just intentional, but that also, again, that makes people money. It
does, entirely, yeah. But that's the frustrating thing, is that it's like it's so short-sighted. Because
of course,
think of how many gaming networks and gaming stuff like that are really around anymore.
A lot of them died.
Who cares? Yeah. I know BuzzFeed is still around and stuff like that, but nobody cares about BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all of this stuff for such a short-term, gain, and I think a lot of stuff in both politics and just social kind of connections around people, even friendship groups and stuff like that. There's, it's one of those sort of things that is quite often just, I don't know, this kind of like, I'm correct, you're wrong, and I'm gonna never meet in the middle. And in the same kind of way, I have this with Rihanna sometimes. Sometimes I'll, have a conversation with her, and, I'm 100% convinced she's wrong. I'm 100% convinced that, I'm in the right sort of thing. But the thing is that, I'll still kind of be like, okay, I'll apologise, because I'll say, even if it's just me saying, I didn't get my point across clear enough, and I upset you in doing so, and, it's not worth having this discussion sort of thing to get into an argument or something like that. It's just, but I do want to say that I understand it upset you in some way, sort of thing. Obviously, I'm being a bit facetious now. I do it with a bit more delicate care, sort of thing, and I'd actually try and understand why she got upset with me, or where things are going. But it's that conversation there. You like if you were to just kind of go into things and be like, oh, do you want me to repair your shovel, by the way? Use this, right?
Sure.
Put your shovel in your offhand slot, and then just right click with that. It's the same as the crystal, but it drops the XP orbs instead of working.
I mean, it didn't. It gave me experience, but I have to.
Oh, does your shovel not have mending on it? Oh, it
It
does.
does.
Yeah. If it's in your offhand slot, it should work. Yeah. It might just have loads and loads of durability. So
no, it didn't. It didn't do anything. Do I need to shift right click?
No. Just as long as you can pick the If you throw it to me, can I try?
It's just giving me levels.
You throw me the shovel. What's going on with this? Oh wait. Oh yeah, it's working.
It wasn't repairing it for me.
Maybe it's... Was it dropping the XP orbs, or was it...
I have no idea. It looked like it was just giving it directly to me.
I don't know. Okay, well, either way, if you need it repaired, just let me know and I'll be able to do that.
Sure. I should probably go put this experience in the Insightful Crystal or something.
If you want, just throw it onto the Hero's Medallion, or use the crystal, it's up to you. The Hero's Medallion just means we can repair the tools a bit easier.
Okay, I guess give it back and let me know how do I do it? Do I just shift right click to put it back in?
If you shift right click, it should put it on a kind of suction mode, and it will slowly drain your XP.
Okay. Yes, okay. What the hell was I talking about?
I have no idea. We're talking about a lot of things.
Yeah.
What's the plan, by the way? I should probably head off to bed soon, by the way.
That's fine. Yeah.
I can we can quickly see if we can drain the area in the thing, and then
yeah, we need to split up by. What should we do it with? Just like dirt or something? Or gravel, actually. Probably.
we can use the pumps.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Is there a way to delete the water that we pump out?
Yes, if we pump it into a boiler that doesn't have anything underneath it, and it's just literally just a boiler with a thing on it, it technically counts as an basically an infinite well, and we just keep deleting the water.
Okay.
That's how I got rid of all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, again, sorry for the lack of much progress in this one, guys. I woke up late, and then at the point we're at, we kind of needed to sort out the storage thing so we could pump liquid into there. Hopefully, before next time, I can get a chance to help you with filling the tanks, or like completing the tanks, and then we can put we can start setting up plastic production to fill them up.
So I can probably do. I was thinking if we have 9 in the one square, 9 in the other square, so we've got 18 different vats that we can fill with liquid. What we could do, I could do off stream, is I could dig these down and start filling them up. So if we had a like a list of what we want to actually put in the vats, I could then start filling them off stream.
Okay.
Because obviously, if it requires us like making the resource, like
somehow I don't think this boiler is what you were talking about.
Oh no, it's the one that's auto generated with tanks. But don't worry, I've got the stuff in my inventory for it.
Oh, okay.
We just need to get some iron casing so that we can.
Andesite casing? Or?
Oh no, the iron thing, whatever it's called. 1 second.
Compressed iron?
Because I think we cast iron, block of industrial iron.
Industrial iron, sorry, that's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah.
You sorting out?
I've got. Yeah, I've just got loads.
Why does
We
one
might
iron
need
ingot
more.
make 2 blocks of this, by the way? That seems a bit...
I have no idea, but I'm very glad about it because of the fact that because of how much we needed.
Okay. Yeah, and then this just turned into a big discussion about everything being shit.
Yeah, so it's one of those things like I don't want people to think, that's necessarily how I feel about the world. It's more that I want to try and convince people to start looking at the world differently in a kind of way that is, we can
care
be
about
the
things
agents of
and
change
think
we want
about
to
why
see.
things are and analyze them and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, let me use the building run. Okay.
Oh, you know what? We could also put symbols in the same way that you have the text that says like storage, generation, etc. We could have little symbols over the buildings that say that sort of indicate what is in those buildings, so we can more easily remember.
Yep.
Like, oh, this one has the fluid tanks, versus this one has all of our, I don't know, I don't know what else we need stored, but in the generation, it's like, oh, this one produces like building materials, this one produces machinery parts and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Cool. Oh, you already put that tank all the way down.
Yeah. Okay. So what
Use the
I'll
building
show
windows.
you how we need to do. Yeah. It's way too much effort to try and do this manually.
I thought your name tag was a fish for a second there.
I'm not sure. Okay, right. So what we do?
Yep.
Where are you? So
Hello.
we have the pump.
Close pulley, yep.
We need. Sorry, my inventory is full of so much random crap. Me try and sort it quickly. There you go. Cool. So we need one of these, a couple of these, one of these, and that should be good. So yeah, if we hook this all up, which I shall leave you to do.
So I need to put the pump here, I think. Oh, let me move my wrench back into inventory. Pump this out into a tank, right? And then
Yes, yeah.
the tank has an attached steam engine.
Yes, so that's now going to turn it into a boiler. So boilers are now act as water sinks. So now what we need to do is connect some power, which we could try and get the things over here, or we could do something a bit more interesting, which is to use...
Okay.
No, that would take way too long, is to use this. So if I grab some wires and some connectors, and I connect the connectors. For some reason, this can only draw 256 FE from one of these nodes, so we have to have 2 of them. I did some testing the other day with it. So because these 480, we have 2 of them. So then we just need to connect these up to the power supply.
Do you want to pass me a wire?
I shall give you some wires, and I shall give you some connectors.
Okay.
I will, if you just literally make them come over towards
do
here.
Do I connect both of them together first and then connect them? Oh, they're already connected.
You place the connectors. Yeah, sorry, you place the connectors, and we basically just need to bring it towards. Lola, please, for the love of God, piss him off. 1 second, let me. Sorry. So if you see where I am, sorry, if you go into the other room and then keep going into the second building, you can see I've just dug a little hole. I've just placed some connectors in the hole. Yep. So if you connect to those, I will try and connect this up on the outside.
Yeah. Wire is too long.
You might need to place a couple more connectors.
Okay.
Is it off?
What? Oh, my computer had an issue for a second. I'm good.
I might actually need to steal some of those wires. I just realised I don't have enough.
It's okay.
How many do you have on you?
Let me connect this up. There you go. I have 9 left.
I left. Okay, cool. Okay. Do you want to come with me and we'll set it up on the other side as well?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, if I just take from this, I just take you to there, that, there, that, there, that.
Ah, I see.
And yeah, and now that should be connected to the inside of
nice.
power generation building.
Yeah.
If I double check, yep. So if we go over to the power generation building now.
Oh, I was gonna. Okay, sorry.
This is going to be a really terrible setup, but
hang on, power.
effectively, we can then connect the. Well, I'll do a tidier setup at some point.
Yeah, that's
this,
fine.
But say, then if we connect that, that is now network is using 512 FE. We'll probably have to come up here, Ogden, just to put on the ledge above.
Yeah.
So, if I go and have a look at our generator, which is in storage over here, you just double check our network usage. Yeah, 500 FE still. Yeah. 100 FE, and there you go. Look at that. Shit. Okay, it still says it's a bottomless supply. How is this considered a bottomless supply?
I mean, is it not just deep enough for that, or?
Oh, no, sorry, it's because I've missed a block here. I'd say it shouldn't be deep enough because otherwise we'd only need to go this far down and block the bedrock with the other ones. There you go, is that going to work?
So if it's 9 by 9, it needs to be. Hang on. It's 10,000 divided by 81.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's drain.
Oh.
Look at that. Yeah, and we can change a bunch of these to if we wanted. So if we wanted to make it go faster.
The way that it drains is really interesting. How it sucks away from where the pump is first.
Do you perchance have any I can do this with
Any what?
case chain drives. There you go. Okay, this will speed things up a bit.
Any what, sorry? What do you need?
I was going to say case chain drives, but don't worry, it was good.
I should in one of my backpacks.
Cool.
I know you already said
Okay,
you
we
had
need
it.
to reverse the motor speed.
Yeah.
There you go. So now it should. There you go. How's that? Oh, yeah, that's fast.
Nice.
So yeah, for the actual tanks, the size of these is a bit too small. We actually need to get them to about up here.
Where, sir?
If you look up.
Oh, okay. That's fine, yeah.
So, I say then they'll be the correct size. So,
it's 124 blocks, right? That we need?
Yeah, so it's 77.
77?
Plus
Isn't it
around
9 by 9? So it's 81?
Yeah, sorry, but in terms of going to bedrock, so 77 plus around 60, because there's going to be around 4 layers of bedrock,
oh,
so we'll just say the 60. Then times 81, so it's a 9 by 9, and that'll give us 11,000 source blocks. or 11,000 blocks that need to be sourced, but just fluid blocks.
Ooh, that'd be fun actually. If you can come up here and then you can walk a lot over the top of all the tanks, they can be like glass, and you can look down into what the tank is.
Yeah. I was thinking as well. What we could do is with the facades. I don't have any on me, but effectively, like, imagine if like this was all like facades with dark glass. We could actually see into the fluids.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, so I'm quite looking forward to having all of this because we can have a bunch of random liquids like what other kind of a bucket? What kind of liquids can we do? Refined fuel, syrup, res. Oh, we could do resin. Oh, we could do a mineral fluid.
Oh, that would be good. So we don't have to fucking farm it anymore.
Yeah. Oh, we could do Oriole Essence. Oh my god, that'd be so much nicer.
We could have like Oriole Essence is from the ghosts, right?
It's the one. I think it needs crystals as well, doesn't it? It needs the Utrum jars with pixies in them.
I forget. Can you time in a bottle? I know that you have in your inventory and picks up time. Can you store the time as a liquid?
Bucket of liquid space time we can apparently make, which is made in time in a bottle, source crystals, and eternal stellars.
Okay.
So
yeah, we could have liquid
that.
space time and memory essence or whatever. That'd be funny. Okay, sounds good.
How's this? Is this almost done? Still got ways to go.
Well, we can leave that running, right? If you need to go.
Yeah,
it is 3 o'clock in the morning.
So what I can probably do before we do stuff next is I'll see if I can both copy this design for the other square buildings. So we have two liquid silo buildings.
I'll try to see a time when we're both available so that I can help with this. By the way, so you don't have to do it by yourself.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd say that'd be great. Yeah, we can do that together, and then
Drain on me to figure out stuff to fill. I'll need to get Crude Dude to transport enough oil. That's going to be one of them. Is infinite oil in a spot would be good.
So it'd be good to kind of mark out which which things we need. So how many? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 9-ish. So that's going to... Yeah, okay, that's a lot more than what we have space for, effectively. But with that said, we don't have to do every single bucket, so we can specialize on things.
Yeah.
So to be honest, stuff like
should we leave one of these as water?
Yeah. We'll need water for certain recipes. We'll need probably lava as well for certain recipes. If we're going to be using refined fuel, I don't think we'll need stuff like gasoline or.
I mean, it can't hurt to have the other liquids around anyway.
I'm just thinking because there's
only 18 slots.
Least,
that's fair.
Yeah, we've got 18 slots. And I think there's at least 45 different fluids.
Okay.
So we can, to be fair, we can always then build separate buildings and stuff like that because yes, we've got the 4 buildings for the storage silo, and I'd like to use this building here.
Can we potentially use like the second and third floors together and have it extend up into the ceiling if we need 18 more tanks?
The problem is that we'd need to go 100 blocks up.
Oh, it doesn't.
We could have
does this update not go up to 256 yet?
It does go up to 256, but then we wouldn't be able to build the thing up top.
Oh, the symbols, right? Yeah, that's true, I guess.
But that's okay. What we can do instead is potentially, and this might be a weird way. Do we have 5 inches? Do we have the matter condensers, are they what I think? Matter acceptor. Um, Spatial pylon, yes. Okay, we can. Okay, right, hear me out.
Hmm.
There's something called a spatial pylon in applied logistics. What they are. So, do you know how applied logistics works?
No.
Okay, so effectively,
Oh, is this the
applied
thing where it like
logistics.
stores stuff as data and stuff like that?
Yes, yeah. So items become data and stuff like
Hmm.
that, and then you know, liquids can also become data, so we can store fluid as a system. But obviously, then you can't get infinite amounts of it.
Liquid as data.
But
That's crazy.
but no, I'm gonna one up you even further. Space as data. So a spatial pylon lets you kind of like the schematic cabinet where you basically build a
So you can
schematic.
have. Hang on.
We
Are
can
you
have
saying what I'm thinking? You're saying we can have a structure such as a farm or a production line in a single block as a computer, like as data?
not as a single block, but as
But
a item.
still.
And that item, basically, what we can do. What if you come into here for a second? I'll show you what it'll do.
My
So
muscle memory. I'm rubbing my eye with my left hand. So let me hold a middle click so I can walk forward without using my left hand. But that doesn't work in this game. That only works in Final Fantasy 14. Oh well. Anyway, you were saying.
So, a spatial pylon, the way it works is you have an area that you select,
Yeah.
and I'll use these as the spatial pylons for the time being, right?
Uh-huh. Mm.
So you effectively say the area that is contained within these two pylons is and the height of them as well
Yeah.
is kind of like a schematic in the same way you select the schematic sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have a little computer next to it with a button on it.
Mm-hmm.
When you hit that button, everything within this region disappears. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, say for example, I built a sculpture here, sort of thing. I then press the button.
Good sculpture.
This disappears and gets turned into a floppy disk.
Right.
I can then place that floppy disk back in,
And it will rebuild
hit
it.
the button again, and it will rebuild it.
Yeah.
So, what this means is we can store structures in this thing. So if we, in the applied logistics system, when we start getting into that, when we want to start, storing every fluid, we could have a giant fluid storage internally, millions of buckets. And the second that one of these buckets starts getting low, we could have one of these entire tanks stored as a spatial pylon
Yeah.
that we just come over here, we turn it back on, that then
And
refills
it pulls
the
it out of
system.
storage and
Yeah.
places it. So we can have a dynamic. We can just have a couple of spaces for tanks, and we can just be like, swap out the floppy disk, give me the infinite oil source, and then it just dumps it out, and then we can pull from it, and then put it back in the floppy disk.
Yeah, once the floppy disk is full, once the storage is full.
That's fucking crazy. How fast is it to unload
Instant.
instant?
To place stuff with spatial stuff, it instantly loads it. The speed in which that we'd have to deal with it is the pumping speed. So effectively, we would place the stuff down. It would instantly place it. It will require an obscene amount of energy. So that's a whole other thing. So we might need to basically have something like a constant, whatever we're using for power supply, we need to have a
Right.
constant fuel source for that.
Yeah, I
But
know
we
that
do
when you
it
store
now.
stuff in applied logistics, it like takes power to be able to access it, right?
Yes, yeah.
Even just
And
pulling an
when
item
you
out requires power.
The more items, so the more space you do with spatial pylons, the larger it is.
Yeah.
Whether or not we'd be able to do the entire thing of a spatial pylon, I'm not sure. But even if it's only the top layer where it's the source blocks, and then we let those source blocks slowly fall down again until it then counts as an infinite source again, and then we start pulling out, and then we turn it off and on again, let
Yeah.
it drain, and then come back up, which would have a fairly large kind of turnover speed. That's still something we could potentially look into doing.
Yeah.
And it might
That's
also
crazy.
be the case that we can't can't get it to work automatically, and we might have to have a bit of manual supervision when we set it up and swap at which types of things are running. But yeah, and also I think the water drain. Oh no.
I mean, honestly, even if we had to do everything manually, the idea that we could just be like, "Oh, give me the production line for this thing," that's a good point actually, because like we've had it before where there's stuff that we need to produce for like a specific quest or one specific purpose, but we don't necessarily need it running all the time, just generating shit tons of it. So if we could store, can you do that with production lines? Can you store a production line on a floppy disk and then?
You can store anything on a floppy disk.
So we can just be like, I need to produce, I don't know,
like if we need a bunch of like sugarcane for something and we don't want to have a specific dedicated sugarcane farm, we can just literally store that in a
well, I'm not just talking about items, but I mean like something that needs to be produced, like I'm flicking through.
I think even entities work as well, so stuff like the ghosts,
mob farm,
the soul sand haunting and stuff like that. We could store those in the partitions as well. Sorry,
I'm going through tons of pages of just like carved blocks and wood and shit. I'm trying to get to some more crafted blocks. Something complicated like
the Netherrack recipe.
God. I mean, I guess, but okay, no. Let's say we need well, I mean, okay, no, yeah. Let's say, for example, we need a bunch of mechanical drills, more than we already have, okay? And we don't want to specifically have a mechanical drill farm, and we don't want to just grab all the andesite machines. Sorry, not farm, like production line, and we don't want to have all our andesite machines and just grab them and manually put them in the smithing table. We don't want to have to manually set up a mechanical drill thing for this one time. We can make it, store in a floppy disk. Anytime we need mechanical drills, go grab the mechanical drill factory floppy disk, slot it in, let it run, and then pull it out once we have our drills.
Well, yes, we can do that. That is possible. There is an easier way.
Oh.
Which again is applied logistics and is also really, really cool.
Okay.
Basically, applied logistics has something called a crafting interface. Or just, I think it's just called an interface actually. Where is it? So effectively, imagine this is a furnace, right?
Sorry, I literally spawned. Or maybe I just didn't see it. I don't know.
Okay. So that's a furnace. That's a crafting table.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is the mechanical press.
Can you just run the production line in data space?
We can't run it in data space, but what we can do.
We're living in the data space world.
If we say place some wires going from the ME system into this, so you know these wires are like this, and then we have an ME terminal over here, which I'll just represent as this brass casing. When we hook this up, we can place some interfaces down. The interfaces can be programmed to respond in certain ways. So, for example, this one can say, okay, well, if we were to send a specific recipe into the furnace, this can smelt the stone. Or smelt the iron, for example.
So we could have a bunch of generic machines and just have a program that attaches to like a mechanical arm or something and just tells it, put this in here, then wait for it, then put it in this machine, then let it press, then squirt this liquid into it, and it just runs that.
What we could then do, because the cool thing about applied logistics is that instead of just saying, okay, well, I need the drill head and then I need to make the drill from that, we can just order directly from raw materials the drill, and applied logistics will queue up all of the processes that.
So we don't even have to program the process. It can just it can smartly figure out what the process is from the fact that we want to craft it, and just give it the raw materials. And it just makes it for us. We don't even have to.
We need to set up the for each recipe that is raw material up. Like, for example, crafting cobblestone into a furnace, and then that furnace then into, say, an iron furnace or something like that, right? I don't think we have iron furnaces in this mod pack, but it doesn't matter. We would have to we would have to set the recipe for the iron furnace and for the furnace and for breaking the cobblestone, but effectively, when we wanted to make the iron furnace,
those are just like instructions we can run.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to check, do we have enough furnaces in the system already? Because even if we don't, we could then say, okay, well, we need this, and it would automatically be able to say, okay, well, I'm told that if I run this quick action, I would generate a certain amount of cobblestone. And I'm told that with that cobblestone generated, I can then make a furnace. and then I'm told that with that furnace I can then make a.
So it kind of learns what steps are possible, and then can smartly figure out what
Yes.
steps to use for any more complex thing as well.
Yes.
Okay.
So what we could do once we get the applied logistics stuff set up, which I think is a little bit out of our reach at the moment, because I think we need time machines for that. So if I look at the ME controller, ME controller needs a time machine, which is time mechanism.
So all we have to do is
isn't
make a
that
time
far
machine.
off. Well, exactly.
Yeah, we need the time
it's
in a
not
bottle,
that
and then
far
we
off
already
anymore.
have radio mechanisms. So and then we need to be able to superheat the blaze burner using a blaze cake, and the blaze cake is
Which is super
squirting
easy.
lava into a blaze cake base, which is made of egg, sugar, cinder flour. Cinder flour is crushed netherrack. Okay.
And to be honest, there's not much point in us having to go out and make the netherrack processing line, because it's so easy to get. We could just build like a massive drilling system in the nether just to harvest as much netherrack as possible.
Sounds good to me.
And then once we get stuff like the ME system set up, then we can start looking into the really complicated city processes that are like weird, and we're like, okay, well we might as well just see if we can get as much weird infinite resources as possible in these like cool little mechanical ways. Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little bit worried that I'm wondering if there's going to be much of a point in the rest of our rail lines at this point when we could just store everything here, but
what we can do,
we can connect people's bases once we do that, I guess.
Yeah, so keep in mind as well what we can do with this server once it's done, because this whole point was us kind of learning the different packs and different things like that. We can swap the pack out or add in new mods and stuff.
That's
and
true.
Change how things go, as long as we keep, say for example, whatever mod adds. Okay, white concrete is vanilla. Whatever mod adds block of industrial iron and stuff like that. We can keep the base, all that sort of stuff that we've worked towards, and then play with different other mods, and try and go even further with like crazy crafting things and things like that.
Yeah.
So there is still a lot of other kind of other.
We could always. I mean, when we were starting the series, we were looking between this, which I thought was cooler, but I was also interested in the other one, which was the astral one, right, where you can work towards going to space and stuff. Theoretically, if we finish this mod pack, we could just try to figure our way to budge adding the astral stuff to this, and then.
Yeah. So I could worst case scenario is I could just world edit this entire the chunk into a middle of an ocean in the astral one.
True.
I could put up fly to a random ocean, copy the entire thing in, and even if it gets rid of all of our progress,
we at least have the buildings.
Yeah, we'll at least have the buildings, and we can kind of use them as a way of okay, well this is going to be where we're launching rockets and whatever. Because then we can just something that we could do that would be quite fun with this is we can continue. Kind of building up around the area, having we've got our main structure being this kind of main big base thing. I'm going to see if I can try and build the central tower at some point, but then all of the water around we could continue building the city, even if it's just decorative for the time being. We can do some other cool stuff.
Yeah, potentially if you want to.
Yeah. Anyway, I probably should head up to bed. Thank you for playing, and
of course,
thank you everyone in the chat for
thanks for
watching
and listening to us
ramble.
Have a moan basically, and well, it was more than a moan, but have a good night. See you Saturday actually for Josh and Joel will now be streaming Heaven on High in Final Fantasy 14. So see you then. Bye.
Hey, bye.